It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Gina Trapani's here. She's got a new project you're going to love. Jeff Jarvis joins us, too. We'll talk about the latest from Google, the Googleverse, Facebook, Twitter, and more. This Week in Google is next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for This Week in Google is provided by Cachefly. CACHEFLY.com. This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 299, recorded Wednesday, May 6th, 2015. Secret Stank. This Week in Google is brought to you by LegalZoom. If you're looking to incorporate, form an LLC or nonprofit, get a DBA or more, LegalZoom can help you get started the right way. LegalZoom is not a law firm, but can connect you with an independent attorney. Visit LegalZoom.com and use the offer code TWIG to receive $10 off at checkout. And by SmartThings. SmartThings lets you monitor, control, and automate your home from wherever you are using your smartphone. Right now, SmartThings is offering This Week in Google listeners 10% off any home security or solution kit and get free shipping in the U.S. when you go to smartthings.com/twit and use the offer code TWIT at checkout. And by FreshBooks, the super simple cloud accounting and invoicing solution designed to help small business owners save time billing and get paid faster. Try it free at freshbooks.com/twig. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show where we cover, I don't know why, but I always say Google, the show where we cover Google, Facebook, Twitter, the Googleverse, the cloud, anything we want to talk about. And a lot of times it's things like news and media because Jeff Jarvis is here, professor of journalism at CUNY, the City University of New York, blogger at buzzmachine.com, author of a great many books, including Geeks Bearing Gifts, his latest, and What Would Google Do in Public Parts, and El Fin de los Medios de Comunicación de Masas. Is that Geeks Bearing Gifts?
Yeah.
The end of...
The joke doesn't work. The end of...
mass media, basically.
Mass media communication, yeah.
The joke doesn't work in Spanish.
No, it doesn't work in Spanish.
I guess that's a good point. If you use an idiomatic saying...
It's been all three books of mine have been the same problem.
Yeah.
What would Google do?
No, yeah.
Joke doesn't work. Yeah. Public parts, joke doesn't work.
Jeff, you're very chauvinistic, very U.S.
I am. I just got accused of that by a Finnish journalist. Just accused me of that on Twitter just moments ago.
Not true. You're the most global man I know. We're so glad to get you back from New Delhi, 24 hours. But I hear a chortle that makes my heart pit-a-pat a little bit. I believe Gina Trapani's in the house.
My job to giggle at you, too.
I love your chortle.
Twitter celebrates.
Yeah, we love Gina. Gina, of course, founding editor at lifehacker.com. She's got her own startup, which is called ThinkUp, thinkup.com. She's got a new project she wants to tell us about in a little bit.
Yeah.
So great to have you back. And Gina only comes here once a month now because she's so busy with her startup. But it's sure nice to have you when you do come in.
It is.
Oh, great to be here. I miss you guys. It's nice to take a break from...
I'm sure. Head down coding.
Yeah, head down coding. Sometimes you got to look up and talk to humans.
What's the new thing?
So we got a new thing. It's called MakerBase. The URL's a little goofy. It's makerba.se because the .com wasn't available.
You got the Swedish one.
Yeah, we did. We got the Swedish one.
Wow. I like it.
Yeah, it's invitation only at the moment because it's really broken and early and we're working on it. But if you are interested and you want in and you're listening to the show, just tweet at me and tell me that you heard about it on Twig and I'll get you in there.
So here's what it says. You make great things. Tell the world what you made. So it's for app creators?
Yeah, it's for digital creators. So not just apps, games, podcasts, shows, anyone that's making any sort of piece of digital culture.
Oh, so I would count.
You would absolutely count.
Oh,
yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, it's about projects and makers, not companies, not titles, right? We're talking about like digital things and their makers. And by maker, I don't mean coder. I mean everything. I mean, we mean everything. I mean, designers, writers, project managers, legal help. I mean, investors, everyone who helped bring an app that you love to fruition. We want to capture in MakerBase.
And then what will we get out of this? Is it going to be like a Crunchbase for makers or?
Yeah, some people have made that comparison. I mean, one of our lofty goals, and this is me and my co-founder Anil at ThinkUp, this conversation we've had is like, there's always like a point in your career where you like talk to that person where you kind of like, you get your big break, like somebody takes a chance on you or gives you a job or sparks an idea in you, and that's kind of when your career takes off. So our idea is like, if we can make the credit roll behind the apps that you love transparent, if we can have the liner notes for apps, just like, CDs have them, or the IMDb for apps, the way that movies has them, that'll make it easier for people to say, oh, who do I need to talk to find out more about how this happened? Or who are the people that work together a lot? Like you'll see these kind of power couples or power teams go through several, projects, like Evan Biz, will go through Odeo and Medium and Blogger and Twitter. So we want to kind of make the network of creators, of makers, kind of transparent to help people, see the faces behind, what we made. And honestly, to help, for underrepresented folks to find their pathways in and make those big breaks happen.
To put it in my terms, it's bylines.
So, yeah, it's bylines, exactly.
Here's Gina. I presume you made this entry.
I did, and everything is editable by everybody. So
it's
just
the show
is
like a Wikipedia too.
It's like Wikipedia. The show counts. Yeah, absolutely. The show is a project for sure. Yep, Medium count. You're writing on Medium, Jeff. I think I added Medium for you. And then each person has a role in a project. And a role could be like, I made a suggestion on how to make the logo better. And the role could be, I founded it. There's like
That's
a wide
nice.
array. Yeah.
Gina,
yeah.
I just put up my latest chapter from the book on Medium that was not meant to be a plug, sorry, is about, and I think I've talked on the show, is what I call credit right rather than copyright. The need to give credit to people for whatever deal may come down the pike in the string of collaborative creation online, and this is a start to that. That's really, really important, I think.
I love that.
It's a directory, though, essentially. A opens directory. IMDb is a good example. There's also didn't Mozilla have a similar kind of open database of stuff? This is good. I like this a lot.
There are a lot of projects like this. There's like Angel List and Geek List and Dribble. I mean, there's a lot of communities for people who do particular things, but this is very maker and project focused. So tell me who made Super and what that was like. And eventually we'd like to add like Q&A and, asking
I like that
questions.
idea.
And it's really cool. Like we showed this to Ev Williams actually, and we had added him as like the founder of Blogger. And you can see the edits that people make to their own page. So he actually edited his role in Blogger to add that he had written some code.
Oh. I actually wrote the code.
Like, this guy's a billionaire, and he really wanted to get in there that he had written some like ASP, It was like very funny.
Where did you get this avatar of me?
Okay, so everything right now we're doing autofills from Twitter primarily. So when I made this entry for you, Leo, this was your Twitter avatar.
That's why. I've changed my Twitter avatar, so.
Yeah, you can click on the edit button anywhere and change and change that. So that's your roles. When you go to your page,
got it. I can edit
click back there, and there's an edit button on the top right there.
Got it. Okay.
And again, this is really
avatar
rough
URL can be different. Got it.
Yeah, we have to make obviously uploading or changing images a little bit nicer than just entering the URL.
Yeah, especially that image. That was my Twitter handle, Twitter image for a brief period of time. Then people explained to me it looked like I was dying in a vat of acid or something.
It's an amazing photo.
I'm not vain. Let's put it that way. I
love that about you.
Because that is not a flattering picture of me there. All right, I'll fix that. But this is cool. I love this idea. And you wrote this all from scratch.
I did. Yeah, we were using a bunch of code from ThinkUp and that framework that I've written when we learned a lot of lessons from ThinkUp. And we want to make the data entry we want to make it fun, right? Because we don't want to give people a job to set up yet another resume. But we want this to sort of differentiate itself enough from LinkedIn and from those kind of other networks to make it worthwhile. We want this to be the place where people go to see the liner notes for an app.
Nice.
I love that you have these Gina touches. Roll. Raised the barn.
Yeah. There's a definite Gina sense of whimsy.
Yes.
Whimsy.
I like writing goofy copy, and then somehow it doesn't get caught.
I hope you come up with a bunch that just go in there, like order the tacos.
Order the tacos. That's a good one.
Order the tacos. I'm the taco orderer.
Brought the donuts.
Complained incessantly.
Added bugs. Herded cats.
Yes. See if I
Beta
can
tested.
find a
Beta
better.
tested is totally a.
Here's
Oh,
my.
no.
This is going to be my new avatar photo, I think. What do you think?
Oh, Leo, you are a beautiful woman. I have to tell you, that is some great eye makeup. I have never seen. That's a great photo.
A lot of
I
work
love
went
it.
into that. No, this is actually it's very cool. L'Oreal makes an iOS app that puts makeup on you.
Was
And
that what it is?
this is done.
I thought your wife was tormenting you.
No, this is done programmatically. She just said hold still, and it's actually kind of amazing. She did the same thing to herself, but there's no. That one's a little obviously creepy. This is me.
This is creepy too.
It is so well done. The shadows and the darkness.
It looks real.
I was sure that Lisa had like pinned you down and did makeup.
I know. I'm gonna save the image and make it my my new Twitter handle, Twitter profile. Isn't that great? All right. So nice job on that. Let me go back to the.
This was a 20%. You said
maker
Gina.
base here.
Yeah, this was a 20% thing.
What does that mean?
Well, we were slogging through some like back end projects around payments and the Facebook API changes at ThinkUp, and honestly, it was hard. And so we did MakerBase as kind of a productive distraction. We did Fridays.
Most people go to the
days.
bar, Gina.
Yeah, let's write some more code. What do you say?
Jeez.
This is Anil's idea. He had this idea in 2011, and he talked to me about it back then. And I remember feeling this twinge of, ooh, I really want to work on that. But we were too busy. We were too busy with ThinkUp. And finally, I said to him, "Listen, let's just build this thing." It was his idea. He had talked to a bunch of people about it. A few people had actually started it and it never shipped. And I was like, "Let's just do it." So yeah, this was our Friday fun day.
That's amazing, and it seems very stable and fast and reliable.
Oh. From your mouth to the
it seems really good.
gods. I mean, it's invitation only.
You have a way of jinxing things, Leo. Don't forget.
You know what? We've just sent 1,000 people there easily, and it's handling the traffic very smoothly. What's your back end?
Oh, this is straight up lamp stack.
You don't run your own servers, though.
No, we've got it on a Linode box. This particular one, we're on AWS for ThinkUp, but we have our staging kind of play sandbox servers on Linode, and we actually put MakerBase on Linode.
Oh, neat.
It's perfectly fine. Like I said, it's invitation only, so people who are going to it who don't have sign-in rights are just giving us their Twitter credentials. So there's not a lot of.
That's probably why we haven't brought it down yet.
Yeah.
But this is great because if you love Gina Trapani, you could come here. And just like you would on IMDb, you'd see every movie that somebody was in. You'd see all the projects that Gina's worked on in the days. It's not exactly a resume, in fact, because these are all direct links, right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's also a GitHub for non-Gitties.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, this is my frustration is that there are all these communities for coders, but
Right.
I just we want everybody to learn to code, and I think that that's a good idea. But I've really come to this place where I realize that being a coder doesn't necessarily mean that you're the one creating this stuff, right? You know what I mean? Like there's so much more to coding apps and games and to creating.
Well, as a coder, that's generous of you.
Well, I mean, as a coder, I'm
not
really
much
privileged,
more, just a little more.
Yeah.
People think I have some sort of superpower. And it's like I have this idea, and if I only can code, then I can make it happen. But
Coding is a superpower. Look at this. You made this, and you made it fairly quickly. I'm guessing.
It is.
That's a superpower. That's a hell of a superpower.
But without writers and designers and even people to do your privacy policy and logo, I mean, there's so much else that goes into it.
Right.
And did you know that this was PHP? There's a good products sort of make the technology behind them invisible, and I think that
totally.
makes a different skill set.
It's funny you should say that because we were talking about App Camp for Girls yesterday on Mac Break Weekly, and Kelly Gumont, who's a counselor there. They have an app that just came out, but she said that's one of the things that the girls learn at App Camp is you don't have to be a coder. You need designer. You need all these people. It's no application is just some person writing code.
No, the real skill to teach is going to be working in teams. I mean, that's what we're seeing about journalism is that we don't work in teams. We are lone wolf.
Well, you should play more World of Warcraft.
Oh, geez.
That would teach you.
I mean, there is this lone wolf kind of mythology around coders as well, and that's
true.
It's about your ability to get the right people together and collaborate and lead, right? I mean, most founders, sure, Ev did some ASP coding on Blogger early on, right? But most founders do, they wear lots of different hats, and I think there's a lot of invisible aspects to
that's really true.
To an app.
Having said that, you should all learn Lisp right now. makerba.se. That's not hard to. It's just. It's
How do you
Swedish.
say it with a Swedish accent?
Makerbase.
Makerbase. Makerbase.
All our Swedish viewers, and we have quite a few, are just hating us right now. How do you get a .se? You just go to the Sweden Nick and.
Oh, I think I'm pretty sure we just used Hover. You have to submit some little extra paperwork that you don't for .coms.
But you don't
I forget
anymore
what that is.
have to be in that country to use the country code in many
No,
countries.
you don't. I think you have to submit like the tax number of the organization or something.
Oh, I hope
something
you don't get a Swedish tax bill now.
Yeah, that's no
I
fun.
think you might get a Swedish tax bill. You're doing business in Sweden.
Oh, jeez. Oh, geez. Shh.
Oh, it's okay because they've got great health care there.
Yeah. And wonderful herring and great saunas.
I love Sweden.
I love Sweden. I adore Sweden.
I love it. And you're going
I
to
would move
Finland, which I also. Scandinavia is great, but it's very different. The Finnish do not consider themselves, part of that Scandinavian, Norway, Sweden, Denmark thing.
They speak Korean.
It's a Russo. It's a very different language, and yeah, it's like Korean, which is really bizarre when you say that. You're going to Helsinki for what?
Newsgeist. Google Newsgeist.
So they do
So
Zeitgeist.
Google,
I'm familiar with that.
Did we talk about this? I don't think we talked about this.
I don't think so.
No, it was last Monday. So Google has made a friendship pact with so far 8 publishers in Europe. The Guardian, El País, the Repubblica, Die Zeit, FAZ. I'm forgetting who else. Sorry about that. And, from this show, if you ever listen to the show, you know how the German publishers go after Google, especially Axel Springer and Burda. And Google, led by The Guardian, pulled together a consortium. I was a part of the meeting at Davos, where this was hammered out a bit. And so Google is agreeing to work on product development, to give I'm not crazy about this idea, but 150 million euro innovation fund, rather like the French bribery fund, blackmail fund, and to do training and fellowships and that kind of stuff, and have this Newsgeist. And it's to me, the success of this will be, as we put it at The Guardian, and as I put it, whether the real action here happens in Mountain View, whether Mountain View cares about news, whether product cares about news, whether they recognize news as part of the mission of organizing the world's information, and whether they recognize the business models around that, whether they come to mutually beneficial real business deals, not just blackmail, and whether they spread this past Europe where they're just putting oil on squeaky wheels. But having given those caveats, I'm encouraged that both Google and Facebook are paying attention to news companies right now. And so this is a big deal. So they're having this Newsgeist thing. They had one in Phoenix for American publishers, mostly American publishers and journalists and academics and so on, some months ago, and now they're doing the European one, and then so I horned my way in.
Neat. You should be there, of all people.
I thought so. I thought so.
Yeah. And I think I commend Google because I think this is the way to do it. You can fight, you can go to court, you can take your ball and go home, but it's always an opportunity to talk and to work out something, I think.
Yeah, it is, and the German publishers will the ones who don't like Google will say we're not cheap and negotiate something. I argue that the real goal here is not money, not some bribery payment, some blackmail payment. The real goal here is mutually beneficial business deals, and to me, those are going to be based on exchange of data, which is going to be hard in Europe,
right?
But I think it's critical. You know my spiel here that Google knows us in ways that publishers simply do not. Google knows more about our content than we do. And the more that Google can make us smarter and so we can do our jobs better, the more benefit that'll bring to news companies at their core. So that's what's going on there. Meanwhile, Facebook has met with a bunch of publishers and released 4 new things that we talked about before in December. And reportedly, they're setting up this new structure where publishers will be able to publish their content directly on Facebook. So people in mobile will not go off and link off from Facebook. Reportedly, none of this is known and I don't know, there'll be a generous revenue share, even up to 100% for advertising on that news content on Facebook. There are some big important issues to discuss around this about, Facebook becomes not just a newsstand, it becomes an editor of the news. It decides what goes where, and there are issues to discuss there. But again, I think there's a great starting point to have that discussion.
I just noticed that it's so funny. Facebook's always tweaking their algorithm. That I feel like the news feed is better than for me personally in the last few weeks.
You know what I like best is the extra relevant. Oh, here's a story, and then here's 3 more that are related to that.
I do like that.
It's working well, I think.
Yeah, that works really well.
They also are doing interest targeting. Go ahead, Gina.
I thought they just made an announcement fairly recently that they were actually going to dial down the amount of links from brands and publishers and dial up in your friend, like actual news from your friends.
Exactly. Yes.
And and they said we're going to do this, and we know that it's going to hurt our bottom line, but we're going to do it because it's what we hear from users. Is that what you're saying, Leo? Like, is that what's making your news feed a little bit better?
Maybe that is it, because one of the things I didn't like is, I thought Facebook was going to be a way for me to stay in touch with family and friends. Crazy me. I thought that was the point of it.
That's nuts.
And they very much moved away from that with the news feed. You could still, on the news feed go chronological instead of top stories. But if you look at top stories, for a long time, it was a lot of brands, a lot of crap. I was seeing a lot of Upworthy style link bait, and I just wasn't interested. And then much more so now, it's friends and family. Although I feel like it's very algorithmic, because I certainly don't see everything by any means.
I'll see like a big announcement, somebody's having a baby or getting married, but it was like a week ago or something, but so many people liked it over time that it bubbled up. So it feels like, oh, this is a little bit later, but at least I am seeing it. I have noticed that it's been better. My newsfeed's been a little bit better in the little time that I spend on Facebook. Anyway, Jeff, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I think that whole thing about publishers hosting their content on Facebook, it just at first glance just seems insane-o.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Talk to me about this, Jeff. Because
all right. Here's the problems are obvious, right? You're handing over your content to Facebook, and if you believe content is the only value you make, then that's an issue. I would argue that what's more dangerous is if you hand over your relationship to your reader to Facebook. But that, again, is where Facebook, I think, can do something about it. I wrote a post about what Facebook could do for news, and my argument is that Facebook can make news publishers smarter about their own users, far better than they know, so that they can give those users greater relevance and greater value and increase the value of news organizations. So I think that's possible. That's not what's been talked about yet. It's not there in the cards yet, but they haven't said what they're going to do yet. Now, meanwhile, at one level, you've got to recognize that people are less and less and less, they are going to go to news sites. And so we must go to where the readers are. There's a page-based web, and now there's a stream-based web. And Facebook has the stream-based web, and stream-based webs are about attention. And so you want to get into that attention stream somehow, and Facebook recognizes that clicking off, especially on mobile, from a link on Facebook to open up a browser, no matter how fast the site, is a bad user experience. You're going to lose traffic along the way. So will Facebook. So they said, spider to the fly, come here and put your content here. Well, then, to me, that all matters simply is about business deal. If the content is I've long argued, you've heard it on the show, if content were embeddable on these platforms with the business model attached to that content, then there's every reason to let your content fly. And the business model to me means, 1, your brand is attached. 2, there's revenue attached, whether that's your advertising or the host's advertising or a revenue share. That's just a matter of negotiation. 3, this is the important part, data attached, analytics attached, that you know this reader is interested in something and you can give them more relevance as a result. And Facebook doesn't hold on to that information alone. That's the big issue to me, and that's unknown. And then 4, links to you. You still have a site, but a site may be more like an archive now. A site may become less important. So you find, if you look at Snapchat Discover, publishers are going there. They're getting paid for it. You want to be on Pinterest. Mode Media, the former Glam, just announced a whole big new platform which curates stuff. Publishers are going to be part of that. You put your stuff on YouTube, get distributed. I think we're going to get to a point where less and less and less emphasis is put on the site. More and more and more emphasis is put on going to where people are, and where they are right now, may not stay this way, but right now is in streams of attention. What do you think about that?
I just the money part. Facebook is paying them. They're paying. Facebook is paying them to do this.
Well, we don't know. We don't know yet. That's not been revealed. But there have been rumors. There have been reports, unverified reports, and I don't know. I'm not been privileged to find out. But so I'm not under any NDA as of yet or anything. But there have been reports that I think the way the report says is that the publisher's ad appearing on the distributed content on Facebook, the publisher would keep 100% of the advertising for that. If that's the case, basically what you get is all kinds of new audience for you and your advertisers. What's not to love? What's not to love is if Facebook only learns more about your readers than you do, and Facebook is the one that controls relevance, and Facebook controls that. What's also not to love is if Facebook, when I was at the Perugia Journalism Festival, there was a study there, an academic from Oxford talking about how Berlingske, biggest paper, I think, in Norway, I think, chat room will correct me, had a picture illustrating 60s hippies and had some nude people frolicking in the beach. Well, of course, Facebook took that down because that's their community standards. They evidently got in trouble for apparently the statue of David.
Their community isn't in Scandinavia.
Yeah. And
so that's the problem. Community standards, if you apply them globally, what does that even mean?
And you end up with the lowest common denominator of freedom. We're all going to be in burqas. You know, that doesn't work clearly.
Yeah.
So also at Perugia, Andy Mitchell from Facebook gave a talk where he talked about all these good things Facebook's doing. But when he was questioned by a well-known journalism professor, George Brock, and by another person about Facebook's responsibility to society now that it becomes more of an editor of journalism, Andy kind of didn't grapple with the question sufficiently, and George Brock and Jay Rosen went after him. I think this is a discussion that Facebook has to start. They don't have the answers right now, but it's a discussion to have. That what is Facebook's responsibility to society? So there's a money responsibility here, there's a data responsibility, and there's a societal responsibility of free speech. But if you can work that out, and always the optimist, maybe to my fault, I think that if news could get all kinds of new readers and new relevance on Facebook through Facebook with a good business deal, with protection for journalistic standards, with protection for the relationship with the consumer, those are a lot of ifs, then I see a positive thing here. Now, the other argument that's made is that, okay, let's say they do all of that. Let's say it's just hunky-dory. It's group hugs. It's kismet. It's karma. Then the fear is that what Facebook giveth, Facebook could take away.
Yeah,
and
they
pull
change
the
the rules. Right.
Which we've seen with Twitter, Lord knows, and others. But again, but I think that's part of the discussion to have, is to say to Facebook, listen, you need to understand some principles here. We need to negotiate some principles about your behavior when it comes to these things that actually matter to society. You know, there's been the arguments about Facebook doing, experiments with human beings to get them to vote more. Well, that's also known as advertising and marketing, and we all do
A/B
that.
testing.
Yeah, A/B testing. But there needs to be a discussion of principles so that when there is a controversy, and there will be, we can take the discussion back to those principles and test against those principles and see what works. So I'm optimistic this is doable, but I don't know enough to know where Facebook really is. But it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a really big deal. It feels like this mirrors. I've been having this kind of ongoing discussion with my friends, kvetching a little bit about Medium, which is obviously an amazing tool. But it feels like all of my friends who've been this like independent bloggers, the Andy Veo and the Dana Boyds and the Neil Dashes and the Jeff Jarvises even are writing on Medium now. And I was I was sad. I'm sad. I'm generally
makes me
sad about that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me a little sad. And I really have had to think hard about what's sad about it, because everyone loves Medium. And Anil has argued with me. He's an advisor to Medium, that the writing tools are better and he writes more because of Medium.
And there's
more
community
people see his stuff. Yeah, there's distribution, right? Like Medium, Andy Bayo was saying like 10 times the number of people see the stuff that I write on Medium than they ever did on my site, waxy.org. And so I can't tell if it's just, it still seems crazy to me. And I have yet to write a piece on Medium. And part of me is like, I'm afraid that I'm going to like it too much or something. I don't know.
Well, you should try. I find, Gina, it's a different thing for different uses, right? Medium, we talked about this.
You always cross-post to your own site, right?
Not always, because I'm a little. That's why because on Medium you hold on to your copyright, so you can put it as many places as you want, no problem with Medium.
That's the good news.
That's really important, and they do have an export tool, and they do have an embed tool, though I haven't made it to work on my blog. What I would love is
you could use that, by the way.
Well,
I'm
What?
sorry.
The embed tool?
Yeah, just something to make your blog a little jazzier.
Prettier.
Oh, geez.
That was mean. I'm
Poor
sorry.
Jeff.
Why don't you use Gina's framework?
Well,
Aw.
that's the other thing. My blog has become more of just a repository or an archive.
Well, and that's a perfectly appropriate thing. And we give out your blog address because that's where you go. You may see
all
Jeff
things
in other
Jeff.
places.
Right, for all things Jeff.
Yeah.
But soon you'll go to
I'm sort of
MakerBase to
mourning
find out
that.
who I am.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sort of mourning that, right? And there's this parallel to
I know.
like the
I
big
agree with you,
sites.
Gina.
And
I am
but there's
too.
no reason. Is that just because I'm old and dumb? Like
Well, I wonder
you
that
should go to
too.
where the
Not
people
about
are.
you, but about me.
I mean,
Well-
but this is the thing. Like, you should go to the where the people are, right? Like,
But
why
here's
create
exactly-
a brand new
that's
social
the- that's
network
the
and
issue, Gina.
everyone's yeah, and I
Do
and I
you
get
have
that.
your own space, or do you go to other people's spaces?
You can
Are
go to
invited
other
in?
people's spaces if, A, you don't lose control of your content ever, right?
In your relationship.
Right. So cross-posting, as far as I'm concerned, is fine.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing would be as long as those other people don't influence your content.
Right.
Yes.
And so I put myself in the position of like, what if NBC came to us and said, we'd like to take some of your content and use it digitally. If I didn't lose control of the content, that'd be fine. And if they didn't tell me, make it 44.3 minutes, that would be fine. But
That would kill us.
well, that's the and then the other issue is a larger issue, which is so they could say that, but you're doing a deal with the devil, and it might be that at some point, this is for sure true of Facebook, all that changes. I guess
you're
then you could
always-
pull back.
I had this discussion in my class, my entrepreneurial class, just Monday, where the emotions come out first. Well, I don't like if Facebook does this. I don't like if Facebook does that. It took me a long time to get things down to say, whoa, everything in life is a negotiation.
Yeah.
And either you get a good negotiation or you get a bad negotiation. But you have to go in saying, what do they have that I want? What do I have that they want? Where are we complementary?
Right.
Can we do something in mutual benefit? And it's a matter of negotiation and a matter of a deal. Cold, hard, thought through negotiation. And of course, you don't negotiate individually with Facebook, but does Facebook give a deal that is good for groups, writers? Does Medium give a deal that's good for writers? I think they're enabling. There's a great thing called Mid-Century Modern. Debbie Gallant, who was the queen of hyperlocal bloggers, and now I work with her in the ecosystem in New Jersey. She started a new site called Mid-Century Modern for people our age, Leo.
Oh, well, I must go there.
Yeah.
You got big print.
Yeah.
I need big print.
It's about peeing and things like that. No, it's not.
It's about peeing?
No, it's not. No, it's not. But Debbie's wonderful. Debbie's going to kill me for joking. Debbie's wonderful, and she's basically says, I can make a new business on Medium as a platform that would be. And this is a woman who built BaristaNet. She built a premier hyperlocal blog, ran it for 10 years, knows how to do it, knows everything that's tough about it, and she's gravitating to Medium because it gives her distribution. There's a chance for advertising opportunities. It's elegant and beautiful.
It strikes me that's the main thing that people like about Medium is elegant and beautiful.
Elegance is amazing, and
That seems dangerous
it affects how I write. It absolutely affects how I write
because the interface is so great.
Yeah, and you want to be prettier. You don't want to be as sloppy as I can be on my blog. What the hell's that?
I don't know.
I take it all back. Fancy gifts. I take it all back.
This is the homepage. This is the homepage.
Click on that. That the letter to Cheryl
From Katie Hafner.
Katie Hafner lost her husband as well.
I did not know that. I didn't know.
Yes, a similar way. And
by the way, Sheryl Sandberg's post about the loss of her husband on Facebook, of course, because Cheryl's the COO at Facebook, was really touching and couldn't have been more beautiful. We had, oddly enough, Jason Calacanis on Twit on Sunday, and he played poker with Dave Goldberg, calls him Goldie. He said, on Wednesday, I sat right next to Goldie during the poker game, and he gave a very touching tribute. I didn't know Goldberg. Did you guys?
No.
No, I only know him as Cheryl's husband.
Right. But
him.
he was a mensch. I mean, there's just no question if you read the tributes and after talking to Jason that this was a great guy. You know what really frosted my flakes? and I can't remember who it was. Some blog decided, well, they haven't revealed the cause of death, so it must have been suicide. And that so infuriated me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think forced their hands. They did reveal eventually that it was just a freak accident. He was on a treadmill and
So
alone, apparently, in the gym at the resort in Mexico, fell off. They don't know because nobody was there, I guess. Hit his head and bled out. It was just a freak accident. Although kudos to the Washington Post, which told that story and then said, and by the way, this happens a lot. Treadmills are really dangerous.
Yeah.
Be careful. We have a treadmill at home. And in fact, had an accident. Our 12-year-old got burned because he was riding on it, fell off. He didn't have the clip on that stops it. And the treadmill burned his arm. Not badly, but it was kind of an eye-opener. Yeah. These are very powerful engines and can be very dangerous. So anyway, I don't know why I brought all that up.
Well, because I had you click on that piece.
Because we were looking at the media.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
I'm glad we mentioned Goldberg. I mean, my social feed was phenomenal from that moment.
And that was where
Facebook,
people
who wanted to know him.
Facebook really lived up to its purpose.
It did.
In fact, it's the second time in 2 weeks it has, because the safety center that Facebook does was such a resource for people in Nepal to let friends and family know they were safe. And it worked amazingly. And my friend and our digital photography guy, Chris Marquardt, who is a regular there, said the reason is everybody in Nepal, in Kathmandu, where they don't have a lot of computers, a lot of infrastructure, but a lot of people have smartphones and use Facebook on their smartphones. That's it. And so it actually, you would say, well, Facebook's not going to be useful there, but it was immensely useful there.
Two things on Facebook. We're on Facebook. One, just on this point. So I left a little comment on Cheryl's post just to thank her for the generosity of doing it in the midst of her grief. And I noticed that Facebook prioritizes the comments on posts according to me as a user. It's people I know.
Isn't that
people
great?
I would know.
Yeah.
I had no idea of that.
Yeah.
The other thing to mention about Facebook, slight change of topic, is if you saw Zuckerberg's video trying to thread the needle on free internet and net neutrality, which I think he did actually pretty well. Did you see that?
I did not.
No.
It's on the rundown under Facebook.
Okay.
Because the issue with free internet is that if you give it away in Africa or India and say, these are the services you're going to get free,
including
Facebook, a light Facebook, that is a violation, it would seem, of the principle of net neutrality.
Right.
So what Zuck argues in there is net neutrality is very important. Net neutrality is about trying to charge people and rip them off. This is about trying to give people free internet, and we can't afford to give them the whole internet for free, but we can afford to give them something to start with. And services make money in the end by basically upselling you. And he opened up internet.org to other developers. Now, whether it's open enough, we can debate till the cows come home. But it's a very delicate argument, and I think he did it well.
To your point, looks the first comment I see is you.
Yeah.
Because Facebook knows, that's your buddy Jeff.
So, by the way, one of the people who liked that comment was Mark Zuckerberg, which is cool.
It's clear he's in here responding to people.
Yeah, but what was also, so my notification on Facebook said, Mark Zuckerberg, parens, a friend of Robert Scoble.
Oh, Lord.
He's Zelig. He's everywhere.
Zelig. That's it. Scoble is Zelig. You've figured it out. He is Zelig. A man of no apparent, I don't want to say use, but of no apparent talents, who is everywhere. It's a Woody Allen movie. You got to see it. So you felt like we're not listening to Mark because it's video,
long.
but
long.
It's long. But you feel like his response was threaded the needle. Sure. He threaded the needle.
I don't know. I mean, I think I can imagine people coming to me and saying, "Oh, but you forgot this, forgot that." And I think it's a very complex discussion. But I was very curious to hear what you two would think about this. Is a limited free internet a violation of net neutrality? And does it?
I think you can. The perfect can be the enemy of the good. I think sometimes, ideally it would be a free and open internet, but if that's not practicable, let's make the first steps. And then this is what I would ask Facebook to do with the intent and the goal of making it open eventually.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I said that this too. I said you need a discussion of principles. You need to say that, one thing he said is he has no ads on it.
That's good.
You need to say that you're not going to pull the rug out from people and exploit them. You need to understand what the principles are. But yeah, I think that on the free end, being able to get people connected in some even limited way is better than not being connected.
I have to think that, and and the example that Chris Marquardt gave of Nepal really shows that there is value, even if it were just Facebook, that there can be some value.
I mean, it's a can of worms. It can become a can of worms. It's one of those things with like there has to be a very clear goal toward opening it all up, right? So, but yeah. Let's
take a break. We're going to come back with more Jeff and Gina. It's they brought the band back together. Love doing it this time. Yay. I got a new watch I want to show everybody. It's not the Apple Watch. It's actually a pretty good competitor to the Apple Watch. And there's actually, the changelog's busy. There's lots to talk about, including a big acquisition that a lot of people are applauding for Google. But first, a word from LegalZoom. If you're starting your own business, there's certain things you ought to do, but it doesn't require a big, expensive white shoe law firm to get done. LegalZoom is great. It's not a law firm. It's better. Here are 5 things you can count on when you use LegalZoom. First of all, reliability. More than 1 million people over the last decade have trusted LegalZoom to help start their business, including me. If you're looking to incorporate, form an LLC, a nonprofit, get a DBA, LegalZoom will help you get started the right way at a price you can afford. Experience. Number 2, they've been helping business owners with legal challenges for 10 years. You can count on them to know what needs to be done and to do it effectively. 3, helpful support, the right people on hand to answer your questions based here in the U.S. 4, legal advice. Since they're not a law firm, LegalZoom did build a network of independent attorneys for most states that are pre-negotiated flat rate, makes it very easy. So you can get advice on the best way to get started. I wanted to know what state, for instance, Delaware versus California. I actually was interested in doing a nonprofit educational corporation. So I would have loved to have had somebody to ask about the pros and cons on that. I had to dig up my own answers. Now you can get LegalZoom's legal advice, even though they're not a law firm. Plus, they can provide contract review and other useful services, these independent lawyers. Finally, no surprises. LegalZoom provides complete transparency, upfront pricing, customer reviews unedited right there on the site. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. I'm really a fan, and I know you'll love it. And if you're starting a business, I want to just pat you on the back and say, do it. Don't hold back, but make sure you protect yourself with trademarks and LLCs or incorporation, all the things you need to do, and you can do it all at LegalZoom for much less than you'd think. Make the smart choice for your business, LegalZoom.com, and hey, we'll save you even more when you use the offer code TWIG, TWIG, at checkout. LegalZoom.com, the promo code is TWIG, and we thank them so much for their support of This Week in Google. Anybody used Timeful on iOS? People I know who have were really fond of it. It was kind of an interesting artificial intelligence take on time management. It would go through your calendar and your email. It would look at what you had when you had time to do stuff that you wanted to do. It would actually say, hey, let me schedule this in for you because you're going to have time to do it. Well, Google has acquired them. The app will stay available for the foreseeable future, according to Google. But they're going to try to add Timeful features into Google's existing apps and services. This would be great in Google Now.
So what does it do?
If it's good, yeah. I haven't used it, so I don't know either. How. It supposedly figures out times when you're most productive, or how.
It uses behavioral science. It tells us that it's much more effective to change the environment people work in directly than to introduce a new tool.
Is it going to yell at me?
I hope not.
Yeah, it's going to be like being
very productive right now, Jeff.
Here, let's watch the video. The Apple Watch yells at me to stand up every hour, and I've not found that annoying. And in fact, found that fairly useful. Yeah, because I actually do stand up. If you've ever worn a Fitbit, there is value to knowing kind of
that collects everything you need to do.
Here's their video.
And finds good times for you to get things done. Timeful gives you an overview of your day and what you have planned.
This guy sounds depressed.
It's a calendar. A to-do list.
Wake up! I'm tired and I don't want to do this video.
To-do list directly onto your calendar, giving you a suggested game plan for your day. You can
Okay.
drag things around to adjust your schedule.
But who
Every
has
time you
energy
check
to do
something
that?
off, Timeful learns more about you and your preferences. There are
I'm
4
going to
different
try
types
it.
of entries.
It's iOS, which is the issue for me. I don't.
To-dos.
Okay, so you enter to-do list, you schedule your to-dos, you check them off when you do them. That's how Timeful tries to understand when you've been productive. So I'm most likely to get to the gym at 11 o'clock in the morning, but if I wait past 6, I'm never going to go.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, and then it
Okay.
learns and it gets better, I guess.
Okay.
Which is,
so
you're right. I'm always skeptical of that. Now, Gina, of course,
I don't
has
do to-dos.
a very good
Gina
to-do
is a
list.
do kind of person.
Yeah,
I am a
to-do.text.
to not
I-
person.
I am a to-do person, but so I was just thinking, I mean, it seems like you have to obviously use their to-do, like this to-do in this calendar.
Right.
I wonder how Google is going to incorporate this, because
Right.
Google has its tasks project, it has Keep, which is tasky like.
I would only use a to-do list program that works with Google.
Yeah.
There are many. I use AnyDo. I use Wunderlist. There are many that will work with Google Tasks. I
Yeah,
presume this
yeah.
will start to. I don't know if it did before.
It's got to, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you better get to the gym now, or this is a good time to work on that project.
Right.
I'm just not the type to write down like I got a code for 3 hours today.
No.
Like on my calendar.
No.
So it
No.
sounds like you're obviously required to do some of that.
Right.
No way. No way.
Not gonna happen, says
Not
Jeff
gonna
and
happen.
Gina.
So I'm now flashing on this image, Leo, that I can see on the next episodes of Silicon Valley. There'll be a meeting. Everybody's sitting down, and suddenly everybody just stands up because it's their hour to stand up.
I guarantee you,
Yeah.
it's so easy to spot what Dan Lyons is putting in that show, because it's so insider. Like,
Am
did
I
you
to
love
take
the
it?
Mark Cuban guy?
Oh, he's amazing.
He's this
that show
jerk-
is so
jerk-
good this season.
I've been enjoying it, although I fear, as Jason said this as well on the Twit, that it's way too inside. I mean, we get it because we know. So there's a Mark Cuban character who is like the biggest bro ever, billionaire bro. And he says, it's all about ROI, man. What? A return on investment? No, radio on the internet. He invented radio on the internet. And then it's so funny. The best part is where he shows up and he says, I started with 1.4 billion and now I have 1.6 billion. And the Pied Piper guy does the math and says, given inflation, you're actually losing money.
Oh, there was the 3 Comma Club. There was so many great. He's disrupting fatherhood. I mean, there were just so many great lines. My favorite scene was that when they're interviewing coders and Jared says, "So are we to take it that you did not crush it in 2012?"
No, I had a health problem in 2012, but
So I wasn't
I,
able to 100% crush it. But I got right
wasn't
back
able.
to it.
And the cyborg? Do you love the cyborg?
Oh, so great. And whatever. A lot of people complained about the representation of women on the show. So I loved it that the engineer that they hired
finally hired a woman.
she,
Yeah.
completely trolled the whole team.
Yeah. Oh, she trolled him, and then as she's going out the door, the guy says, "I love the dragon tattoo." Love the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, it's like it's so funny with cringe. I mean, it's really, they're on point this season.
So apparently Timeful, I'm not sure, the chat room saying that Dan Ariely, who is the guy, of course, who wrote Predictably Irrational and is a behavioral economist, very interesting guy, had something to do with Timeful. I don't know if that's the case. I'm looking at their
But you should
website.
know we're not going to be rational enough to use it.
Yeah, right. I'm always suspicious. Oh, Ashton Kutcher's an investor. I'm always, oh. Looks like he made a big exit. I'm always suspicious when they say the computer will do it for you, because they never seem to do a very good job.
Although I have to say that the Google Now is like, hey, you've got this place to be. You need to leave in 20 minutes.
I love
That
Google
was
Now.
very well.
Pretty great.
That's where the battlefield, by the way, having now, I used Android Wear for a long time with my Moto 360. I have this new one, which really looks pretty, and I've been using the Apple Watch. Yeah, I'm that guy with 2 watches. But I have to say, that is, if there's one advantage Android Wear has, it will be Google Now, because Apple doesn't really do that. It can't do that.
Not
What
yet,
if you
right?
only
Yeah.
used Apple Calendar and Apple Mail and all that?
Well, if you have an iPhone, you don't have a choice of Android Wear. You only have a choice of
No,
Apple
what I'm
Watch.
saying is, if you don't live in the Googleverse
Right.
at all, you only live in the Apple universe.
Right, then there's Google Now's
Apple
no value
could
anyway.
do that. Well,
Well,
but I'm saying
they
Apple
could.
could
Yeah,
replicate
yeah.
that.
Well,
Doesn't Siri have some features around your stuff or no? Is Siri completely separate? I thought they did something
what does?
around
Microsoft's
show me my day.
Cortana does.
Oh, Cortana, right.
Cortana is asks you a lot of questions about yourself and then tries. I think Apple, because of their stance that I applaud, but their strong stance on privacy, is going to have a hard time doing what Google now does. Because Google now works because it goes through your email.
Yeah.
It looks what you're doing, where you are. It does all sorts of things that Apple, of course, could do, and probably is doing, by the way, but isn't gonna.
And it's good.
surface.
The story recommendations, like the stories that you'd be interested in, is actually quite good for me.
Yeah.
Like I find myself flipping over to Google now as much as I would go to Twitter if I'm just looking for something to read.
Once again, I'm not getting it.
No, it's not working for you.
All I get is Snowden and Chromebooks.
Well, friend,
okay.
you need to broaden your interests.
Well, no, I look at lots of things. I use the Google Play News app. I look at all kinds of stuff. It knows what I search for. For some reason, it's always Chromebook and Snowden.
Last week tonight.
That's it.
That's not too bad.
I don't know how it knows that I watched them. I did.
It does know what you watch, yeah. So here's a baseball for me. Here's an article about Colin Kaepernick. They know I'm a Niners fan. Here's classic rock and oldies. There's some Beatles information. I don't know who Kumail Nanjiani is, but apparently he's not Kunal Nayar. So that's good. Here's where I parked.
Do you have a stories to read module, like separate from the ones with the dark header?
I don't know.
Yeah, I got that too.
Stories to read is where I wind up.
I've customized the heck out of this thing. We did it last week. You weren't here, but we went through this because they've added downloaded apps now.
Oh.
Where would everything else? Okay. And this
there's another module called Stories to Read.
Well, how do I get that module?
So stories to read. Let me see if I can
Where
find
do you get that? Do you turn? I mean, that's part of what is annoying, and Timeful will be equally annoying about kind of computer-driven decisions. Is if you let the computer do it, then do you ever get to do it? And is there a way to override the computer? And maybe the computer isn't so smart about me after all. I don't know.
Right.
So
yeah, it's at the top of everything else for me.
Yeah, stories to. So is there a way, chat room? Is there a way, do you know, to turn that on? There's an orange one. Is orange good? That's sports, right? Yellow, how long does it take me to get home? The gray is what I'm getting. Anyway.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Gina. This is a pretty good list. I didn't know, for example, that Reddit is starting a video division to create original content.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I think it's because we failed. We tried to do a show called Reddit Up, and Reddit was very interested. Sarah Lane and Chad Johnson hosted that. They both disappeared after I canceled the show, so maybe it's my fault. But it just didn't quite work for me. We did a bunch of beta test episodes. We tried changing things around. Reddit was immediately in touch and said, "Can we, they're interested. They understand the value of doing a dignation for Reddit." And so as soon as we stopped Reddit Up, they did an audio thing, and now they've just announced they're going to do a video production as well.
Is it basically dignation?
Well, that's, I think, kind of what we were thinking is, let's do a dignation where you highlight the interest. Dignation was really valuable in making Dig a success because it was a very engaging, fun podcast with Kevin Rose and Alex Albrecht in which they would highlight great stuff on Dig, and they'd talk about it. Because the show did so well, it drove a lot of traffic to Dig, and I think that's probably what Reddit's thinking. But I don't know.
I always imagined that Dignation kind of served the super users of Dig, but no, it did bring it.
The opposite.
I think you can say that
the
Dignation. I don't know for a fact. I'll ask Kevin.
Or both. But I think you didn't have to use Dig to enjoy Dignation. You say, oh, that's the hot stuff this week, and they had fun. I had fun listening to what it was, and they drink beer
alone.
and they go to the bathroom. And
by the way, they're bringing it back.
Oh, really?
Well, I'll ask Kevin. Kevin's going to be on the new Screensavers on Saturday. He'll be our guest host. But it was my understanding that he and Kevin and Alex had talked, and that they were going to do at least some new episodes, if not.
Kevin's left Google Ventures, right? And he's working on new stuff. What's he doing?
He has an assistant there. It's really, once you're in the good old boy network,
yeah, boy,
life
it's not
changes.
a bad life.
So he still has that email address, and he still posts Foundation as a Google Ventures thing, but he's got a new startup, Watchville. I don't know.
I'm still waiting for that change.
He's on a boat.
I want to get into that network.
Yeah.
How do I get into that network?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Gina, what is it? We're working stiffs. That's the difference.
Are
Yep.
we ever?
We're working stiffs.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, I've seen it happen before. And it's not just because they get money. We were talking about with Jason also about Secret. There's a little upset over Secret, which exited. This is the anonymous app that was used basically by Silicon Valley insiders to bully other Silicon Valley insiders. They shuttered this last week. But what I didn't know, and what came out in the stories about it, is that the two founders, during their round, their very first round of funding, had taken $6 million off the table, $3 million each. And I asked Jason, is that usual? I've heard of founders taking money off the table. He says it's unheard of. He said, and it upsets people. He said, it's not unusual if you've been working for a long time on your startup and you're taking another round of funding to take a little bit. Kevin took some money on, I think on Revision 3, took some money off the table, $1 million or so. But he said, you never do that in the A round. That's just appalling. And now we're starting to hear other VCs like upset about that.
Yeah, the secret thing is weird. Isn't the idea of you take money off the table after you like haven't paid yourself a salary for several years
Right.
and have been through several
You've
rounds?
earned
And,
it.
like,
Right.
Yeah, you've earned
Well, and
it.
after
right.
you're fully vested in your stock too.
Right.
I mean, you do a vesting schedule in stock so you don't go running away.
Well, this
or
is
so that
before
you get fired.
This is before the IPO, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it's a good sign for society that it died.
Secret, yeah. Although Yik Yak and some of these other college-based
there'll
ones
always be something.
are worse,
Always be
aren't they?
something.
Because
Yes.
So Secret really ended up just being annoying to Silicon Valley because that's the only people who, first of all, who read it, and it was all about people saying bad things about other people in Silicon Valley. But Yik Yak and these other ones and Whispers are really about kids because they're geographic. So you can see all of the people talking about stuff at school.
Yeah, my wife, who works in university administration, was at a conference of other university administrators at a panel about the problems that Yik Yak introduced, and people attending the panel were on Yik Yak saying things about what was going on. It was very meta.
It's addictive. It plays to our worst kind of side.
It's tough though, like I found myself in this weird position with Secret. I mean, I don't think that the founders acted, in good faith, and it sounds like the exit was bad. And I realized that like the experience on Secret was actually quite bad, but I do think that there's a place for anonymity. It's really hard to do well. I think Ask Metafilter does it kind of well. It's the only place that I've seen people be able to sort of anonymously ask personal questions. I think there are people in this world who have legitimate life-changing secrets, and I do think that there's something there of like how can people reach out and talk to one another about those secrets. I mean, from I'm in the closet, I think I'm a woman, I'm here in this country illegally, I just got diagnosed with cancer and haven't told anyone. I mean, people live with like really soul-crushing secrets that you can get support from people online, right? And I mean, there's ways to do that through whatever, throwaway handles or whatever. But I think there's something there in the product. There's something in the spirit
but it's
of the product.
architecture. It's how you make it. And if you make it in such a way that people are going to come in and just use it as a snark factory, then that's what it's going to become.
Right.
Or if you're not going to devote the resources to get rid of that stuff, which you're probably not going to do, then that's the problem. So it depends on how it's architected.
Yeah, and this is good. This kind of goes back to my thing about, that it doesn't take a coder to make an app, right? Like that designing a product like that, particularly like that, a sensitive product is a very difficult thing. And the moderation required in a setting that, allows anonymity is also tremendous. But I don't know. What I didn't like about the Secret thing is that everyone was sort of dismissing it as this terrible idea. And I actually think that there's a little bit of a good, like some good could come out of a scenario like that if it's done well. It was not done well in the case of Secret. But yeah. R.I.P. Secret.
Did you get your Project Fi invite yet?
Nope. Did you?
Nope.
No, but somebody emailed me, said I got one. So they're going out. In fact, I noticed a change in language on the Project Fi site. This is Google's wireless cell phone play. I noticed on the Project Fi site, they said something like, "Oh no, Jason has just showed me something very disturbing from The Verge. Signing up for Project Fi will destroy your Google Voice account?
Yeah,
How do we know that?
kind of consumes it, and you basically give up a lot of voice features if you switch over.
And roads you go down, you can't go back on. It appears all kinds of bad stuff.
Yeah, I know, it's got
Google
me thinking
has a real
twice.
problem with identity.
Suddenly I'm
that we
thinking
know.
twice. Yeah.
Do they warn you anyway?
Well, they have it in their. I mean, I'm sure they do in the onboarding process and everything.
Because I use my Google Voice number all the time. So here is a page. I guess somebody got an invite and sent them a screenshot. Like your Google Voice number, keep it. No matter if you keep your Google Voice number or not, many aspects of Google Voice will carry over to your Project Fi service. Your Google Voice credit will be transferred automatically to Project Fi. Bring your Google Voice number to Project Fi. Actually, I wouldn't mind that. Or use a different number. Your Google Voice number will be released when you activate service. No getting it back.
So you either port it over or you don't, and it gets released. Is how I read that. Which doesn't sound like a very good thing for voice faithful.
Google
Voice
notes that once a voice number has been transferred to Fi, you'll no longer be able to receive or send calls or messages through the company's Google Voice apps. But does Hangouts still work? Because I stopped using Google Voice apps. And say goodbye to your voicemail and call history. These will no longer be saved with voice once you've switched. Old messages will be preserved. But I've already transferred to Hangouts on that, right? Most people I would think have. Oh, no. Many of Voice's existing conveniences like call forwarding, blocking, automatic voicemail transcriptions, and cheap international calling are making the move to Fi. And if you've already routed messages and voicemails to Google Hangouts, these changes may not seem so drastic. But if you are still using the plain old Google Voice apps, maybe use another email to register for Google Fi. It doesn't sound good. That we've been waiting for the other shoe to drop, haven't we, on Google Voice? It's hard for me to tell what this means.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I'm trying to understand it, too. Somebody just posted in the chat that Russell Hawley at Android Police is basically saying,
Don't do it.
Don't worry about it. It's not going to destroy your Google Voice account, so we're missing some sort of context.
This is just hysteria from The Verge, perhaps.
Yeah,
I trust Russell. Russell's been on All About Android many times. He's a great commentator.
Yeah.
So,
and he regularly is the one on the Android sites that's saying, "Hey, the sky's not falling."
Yeah,
everybody's freaking out over nothing. Let's take a step back and take a closer look.
Android M. You just got used to L. We just got Lollipop. Get ready for meringue pie.
Marzipan.
Marzipan. That would be a
marshmallow.
Nice marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
Macaroon.
I think there's too much Ghostbuster temptation here.
Marshmallow.
I want a Ghostbuster.
Look at
Android.
this is the article from Android Police features macaroons, French style macaron. They'll be announcing Android M at Google I/O according to the conference schedule.
They've since removed that page.
Keynote.
But here's the screenshot that Android Police got. Android for Work update. Android M is bringing the power of Android to all kinds of workplaces. Maybe that was just a typo. Maybe they meant L. L was announced last year at Google.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they meant M, and they just,
but they don't
set it off and didn't mean to.
Right.
Or maybe they meant to. Because Google, sometimes it seems like this happens and it goes away, and they know that people are just going to spend the next month
talk about
obsessing over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm liking L a lot. But there are still some issues. There's still a memory leak, which they have yet to fix.
Really?
Apparently.
I'm not having the problem.
Well, you probably reboot your phone every few days.
Yeah, how does that manifest?
And this comes, mostly from XDA developers and so forth. Let's see. Here's a Greenbot article that's probably written in user speak. It manifests, somebody in the chat room says, because I have 400 apps. Android Lollipop. Well, this is an old article, so I'm not going to. Well, it's from January. The issue it's in the issue tracker in the AOSP bug tracker. It says rampant use of RAM. A memory leak causes apps either to run slowly or crash without any warning. Android 5.0.1 apparently takes up as much as 1.3 gigs of RAM. And if you don't have more than 2, that could be an issue. A ticket for the RAM issue opened on the AOSP tracker a month ago. That would be end of the year last year. But I have also seen others say that neither 5.1 or 5.1 fixed it.
Yeah, I've seen mixed results on that.
Yeah, I reboot.
Feedback.
I actually do reboot my Android device. Restart it, just restart it every day or so.
You do?
Yeah. I have noticed, and it could be a Samsung thing. God knows Samsung's got similar issues.
Well, yeah.
But it could be a Samsung thing. They apparently are soak testing 5.2 already on the S6 Edge. People have seen it. But and no word about whether that affects it or whether the issue is more of a Samsung issue. But, yeah, I've noticed that it gets a little less responsive over time. And if you reboot it all, seems fine. That could also, people are right. I do have a little bit too many apps running, so it could just be me.
Yeah, I've only had Lollipop a couple of days on my OnePlus One, and I haven't seen that. But I forgot to plug it in, and it ran out of battery, so I changed it. I restarted it for that reason.
Yeah,
but I haven't seen that yet. That's interesting. I like Lollipop though.
Yeah, isn't that you're using Oxygen on your OnePlus One probably, right?
No, it's Cyanogen 12. I guess it's 12.
Oh, you got CM12.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what's going to happen. Jason and I both put Oxygen on our OnePlus Ones, right?
Yeah, because it came out first.
Right.
I just wanted
we had to root it, and we had to do all that, new recovery and twerp and all that. But I love it.
Yeah,
but now I don't think I could put CM12 probably on it, right? Because
you could.
Is it Lollipop based? Oxygen?
Could I? Yeah. Oh, Oxygen is as pure as can be. It's pure as the Lollipop it can be.
Oh, really?
It's basically a GPE.
Oh.
There's very, very few customizations on top of it.
Pure Product Edition. Let me see if there's a software update. This show I always check for updates.
Your device is up to date.
Always up to date. Damn it.
Always up to date.
I hate it about that. But I do like material design a lot. I think it's good. I'm not crazy about TouchWiz. Samsung's it's pretty clean, but Samsung as always is. But I have noticed that there's some sluggishness over time, and so I restart from. It's very easy. You just press and hold the start button, you restart, and 5 seconds later, 30 seconds later, you're back.
Are you finding any value to the curve?
No, in fact, a little bit it gets in the way because you're touching the screen all the time. So sometimes I accidentally touch the screen. Having said that, this is the nicest. I love this phone. I'm going to be so glad now that I have an Android Wear watch that I can go back to using, because I've had to use an iPhone. It's been painful.
I told you that wouldn't last too long.
I actually like the Apple Watch. I really think that what really has happened is there's very close parity at this point between Android Wear and Apple, and I think they're going to go back and forth like this.
Which pisses me off about the media coverage because when it came out, Apple came out, it was as if Android Wear didn't exist.
Yeah. I had that same
Constantly,
feeling. Have you compared like the heartbeat monitoring and the steps? Are they comparable across the two watches, Leo?
People have often. Dr. Mom keeps saying, "Why don't you wear all of the bands and then work out and see what they say?" And I don't think that matters so much as long as you're consistent with one, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Because really, you're comparing yourself to previous days. The Apple Watch seems to be very, very accurate, I would say. Android Wear has been less so, but not horribly less so. I haven't. I just got this. I haven't actually done any exercise with it. So
what is it? That's the LG what again?
Oh, I guess we should talk about it. Let's take a break. We'll talk about the Urbane. Right. Is that Urbane or what? Actually, maybe we don't need to. We only have one more, right? We could do a little Urbanify.
Is the flat tire going on there or no?
Yeah, no flat tire. LG got rid of that with the R.
As long as you have the bezel, you're okay.
And it's what I really like about it, and I think the key. Well, the bezel doesn't hide it. It's just it's literally a round LED. Hello, what's going on here? Oh. That's kind of cool. I love
But you could hide the electronics needed that required the flat tire in
underneath
the bezel,
there.
right?
Maybe. I don't know if you. I think they're just using a different screen nowadays, and they don't really.
Oh, is that it? Oh,
yeah. Let me see if I can get. So, comes with some nice watch faces. This one's kind of interesting. This is called Daily. That gives you calendar information as well. But the big, look at that. See, that's my next appointment.
Nice.
The big thing that's kind of cool about this is it's an OLED screen. So the Moto 360 is LCD, and once you go OLED, you never go back. It's just, and it also saves battery because only the white stuff is using juice. So I feel like, yeah. The other thing that I like Android Wear better, you notice the Apple Watch turns off. It really has to save power, so it just goes blank. Android Wear has always had this kind of dim version. That's what you're seeing right now. So the watch is always on. You can always see what time it is. But if you want to wake it up, you do a little bit of the wrist thing. On the other hand, the Apple Watch can send heartbeats, which this cannot do yet. I keep pressing too hard. I forget it doesn't have force touch. I like this. This is the stock watch.
Right,
face.
force touch is an Apple Watch thing.
Yeah, that's an Apple Watch thing.
It detects pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$350 on the Urbane. It's the same guts as the G Watch R. But the OLED screen is gorgeous, and I think the styling is good. It's a little maybe it's a little ostentatious. I got the gold one. They have a silver one as well. But for $350, you get gold. I think it's a good looking watch.
It is.
Yeah.
How big does it feel versus the Moto?
This is a 42 millimeter Apple Watch. The Moto is about the same size, square versus round. This is big. A slender-wristed man or woman might not like
Which I
this.
am.
Yeah, there's no, unlike the Apple Watch where you can go 38 millimeters, there's no alternative in the Android Wear space. They're all big. The Apple Watch is pretty. I mean, come on, you can't.
It is pretty.
It
That's
is.
cool.
It's
It's
a
pretty. I
gorgeous
mean, that
looking
one's
watch.
pretty hip. Like it's pretty hipster, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's sporty.
Are you saying my specific one is pretty hipster?
Yeah, I
think
like
so.
that brand.
No, I mean hipster in a good way.
Is it more hipster if I have Mickey on it? Now
I
how much
heard
would you?
about the Mickey face.
How
What
What
much
is
did
up
they
with
pay
that?
for that?
Yeah, well, remember Disney and Apple are kind of
Disney and Apple,
close
yeah.
bedfellows. This is the stainless steel with Milanese loop, which is about $700 as displayed upon my hairy wrist. This is $350 with a leather band. Although it's a standard 22 millimeters, so you can put any watch band you want on there.
When does the Urbane go on sale?
I bought it last week. You weren't here.
You did it because it still says it didn't appear to be on sale. Okay.
No, yeah, it's on sale. I bought it last
It's
week.
coming soon. No, it says coming soon on
They
the
ran out.
site.
They ran out. They ran out. Sorry.
Ooh.
This is the first watch with the Android Wear 5. Is it 5.2? I guess
5.1, I believe.
Or 5.1?
Yep.
And so that's kind of cool because it has the new card flick, which I can't do because I don't have any cards. But you can, instead of touching it, you can flick the cards like this. It also has Wi-Fi.
Oh, so that rotates the cards.
So I'm wrong. It's nope, out of stock. Out of stock.
Yeah, they sold out. Apparently, you can get them elsewhere, including I think AT&T and Verizon had them. So
The silver is in stock, not the gold. You endorse the gold, eh?
well, it's a little coppery, but it's I mean,
What do you think, Gina? What do you think? Taste alert here.
On the style of that watch?
Silver versus gold.
Oh, silver versus gold. I'm a silver person. Sorry, Leo. I would have gone with the silver, but
yeah,
that's
silver
just me.
looks nice, and it has a complimentary leather band. I really like actually this watch a lot. You know what it comes down to? What are you going to carry, an iPhone or an Android phone? What do you like better? Because the watches are so similar in capability.
Do you think these watches are ever going to talk to the other operating system or no? It doesn't seem like there's any financial incentive. I mean, it seems like these are accessories to the phone.
Reports are that Google was going to do a version of Android Wear for iOS.
Yeah, but it will not be very capable because Apple...
Because it can't. Yeah.
Apple doesn't give you access to all this stuff. I mean, certainly the Apple Watch will always be the most capable choice for somebody using an iPhone. I think they're both good. I think smartwatches are of limited utility, and nobody should think of a smartwatch as something that they have to have. It doesn't do more than the phone does. Well, I guess it does if you talk about sending heartbeats. I can't do that with a phone. But having sent Lisa an awful lot of heartbeats now, I think we're kind of over it. The other person has to have an Apple phone.
Yeah, that really seemed more like a marketing
we're kind of over that
thing than actual something that you really. Aww.
It's no longer even romantic, to be honest with you. So
that's Leo. That's marriage.
Yeah. Maybe the Apple Watch is like marriage. After 6 months, you couldn't care less. No, that's terrible.
Oh.
I'm joking, honey.
Quick, send another heart. Quick.
I am actually joking. It's just, of course, Lisa and I work together, so it's not. If I wanted to send her a heartbeat, I could just press my chest against her ear. So it's not,
and that would make good show, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah. What are you doing? Get away from me. So anyway. What else is new in the Google verse? Let me look quickly.
There's some stuff here. Yeah, let's see.
I think when we talked about this idea that the Wi-Fi now is available, just as the Apple Watch can talk to the phone anywhere within the Wi-Fi network. The Android, this is the first Android wear to use that feature, and it does have Wi-Fi enabled on it. And I want to test whether it apparently it'll use the public internet if it can get on the Wi-Fi. So I'm going to leave my phone home tomorrow, or something.
And you'll get a phone call on it because it won't matter. Use Google Voice. That's okay. There's an item at the last I/O item. A Twig fan, Matt Goddard, did some. It says that before every I/O, he looks up Google patents.
Oh.
And he found a very interesting research, and he found a whole bunch that appears to be about a newfangled camera.
Ah.
So I thought this is worth passing on. I found
there have been a lot of rumors that Apple was going to have a new style camera with almost like the HTC One camera with depth sensing in it, and a whole new way of doing things. Quad-core image processor, multiple-core image processor, portable device. Image processing method using sensed eye position.
Right.
Handheld imaging device with system. Yeah.
I don't know.
Knows what you're looking at.
Glass related.
That would make more sense.
Could be. Yeah, could be.
Problem with patents is, especially in a big company.
Camera separate from processing unit, so communication. So I don't know.
Big companies patent everything defensively.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily an indicator that they're going to be doing anything.
But I like that. I like the research. That was fun.
On the other hand, if I file a patent, you can bet that I mean it.
Didn't Vic promise that they're working on a new camera? It was a couple of I/Os ago. I feel like it was maybe like right before the last I/O, where people were saying, "Hey, there isn't an Android phone that has the camera or can take the photos that the iPhone can. What's going on?" And
that does sound familiar.
Yeah, it was Vic or Eric Schmidt. I can't remember which, but they basically to the effect of the next Nexus is going to have an amazing camera, the Nexus 6, which I'm not sure if I would qualify the Nexus 6 as having an amazing camera. So it was probably just talking it up a little bit would be my guess.
Yeah, he was.
But who knows? That's what the next Nexus needs to have, right? And we keep asking for it every year. But this is like a different year from any others in the world of Android, and the fact that there are cameras on Android phones now that absolutely go head to head with the other amazing camera phone, which is the iPhone, the S6. The
S6 easily goes head to head with iPhone.
The LG G4, amazing camera.
Yep.
So now suddenly we've got a taste of it, and we want it on all the other devices. So I really hope that happens with the next Nexus.
I think that Apple will update its camera on the next iPhone, which comes out in the fall.
Yeah.
So it's going to be competition. Great thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
love
make
it.
you look like a good photographer.
Love it. Better cameras, watches, whatever. Just bottom line takeaway on any smartwatch is it's a luxury, not a necessity. It might be a value to you if you do the particular kinds of things smartwatches are good at, exercise, listen. There's some value to it, but for the most part, it's a luxury item that really isn't a necessity. If your phone does everything in most cases and just fine. So I'm not wild about this. Google is, according to Android Police, going to also introduce at I/O voice commands that will let you control apps entirely through voice. This would be kind of the big issue with watches I have is they're too small to really do anything useful. The UI is just too constrained.
But it's also too embarrassing to talk to your wrist.
Well, and I have had phone calls where I'm talking to my wrist.
Talk to the wrist.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, I guess. It's, you know what? It's great to be able to answer an Apple Watch call and say, like, hey, I'm in the middle of a show right now. I've done that a couple of times. Can I call you back? And it's quick, and you don't look like too much of a fool. You wouldn't want to walk down the street talking to your watch. Maybe you would. Maybe we'll get used to it. We got used to people talking to themselves with Bluetooth earbuds.
Yeah.
So you can talk into the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Can you hear what the other person says?
You can have a conversation. It's a phone.
There's a speaker on it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a phone. You can make a phone call. Voice actions in the new. This is part of Android, right? Yeah. Would be able to allow developers to design apps that use voice commands instead of touch input without adding a lot of overhead. It'll give users access to their Android device through voice alone.
There's some new voice actions. I have it in the changelog as well, kind of along these lines. So I can't tell if this is referring to that or if they're just going to open it up to every developer. And right now it's just partners.
Hey, you want to see the wrist flick on the Airband? I got a few cards I can show you. So you see the cards. Actually, this is kind of nice. This is when it's in the dim mode, the cards just show up as a little bit of text at the bottom of the screen, which is kind of nice. You know you've got a notification and you can kind of read it. When it's in the bright mode, it shows up as most Android Wear watches. And this is the new thing. Instead of swiping, you can do the wrist flick. Whoops.
Oh.
And it'll come up, and you go to the next one like that. Actually, I only have two.
Carpal tunnel awaits.
Well, yeah. You know what? It's for strap hangers. It's for strap hangers.
I'm telling you, Nick Bilton's going to write the story about Android Wear syndrome.
Yeah. It's for strap hangers. Or if your other hand is busy, you can look at the watch and you can go like that. Oh yeah. Okay, I see it. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the Moto X thing, right? Take a picture.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I mean, you don't have to use it, and you can certainly turn it off.
No, I like it. I'm jealous. Now I want it.
Voice actions. The session, and people saw the session because I guess all the sessions are up now. Voice access is called Your App Now Available Hands-Free.
Leo,
what are they going to give you guys? You're going. Oh, Gina, you're not going.
I'm not going. I was wondering what the coverage plan is. If I can help by.
I want you on the live stream if you want.
Watching it at home, and I'd be happy to be one of your commentators.
I'll be there, so I won't be live.
So, sweet, you'll be there, Jeff. Good.
Oh, you're not going to go either.
No, I am going. As I'm saying, I'll be there.
Yeah. And Jason's going, and Mike Elgin's going. Jason Howell's going, and Mike Elgin's going from our team. So, this is coming up when? June? It's soon now, actually.
Like 3
Very
weeks.
end of the month.
End of May.
Time flies.
Yeah.
So, we'll do live coverage as we always do of the keynote, as long as they stream it, which I think they will. Are they doing 3 days of keynotes again, or
no? Just one long keynote.
One very, very long.
So it's Thursday and Friday this year.
Go to the potty. Go to the potty before the keynote.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Thursday and Friday. Thursday morning will be the keynote, basically.
All right. So we'll be doing that. We'll be here live covering, and Jeff and Jason Howell and Mike Elgin will be in the event. So we'll get your.
So we're going to do
thoughts
something afterwards
if you want. Not really, because Twig's on Wednesday. I think it'll be you can just enjoy yourself. No need to cross any bridges.
Happy to work.
No bridges necessary.
Well, I will be crossing the bridge on Wednesday and seeing you, but.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Oh, you're gonna go in studio Wednesday. Cool.
Yeah, because I'll be there.
Nice.
I'm going to the valley. I'll be going down to the valley on Monday.
Oh, fun.
Tuesday.
Oh, fun.
And then Wednesday up to you, and then I.O.
Good.
Awesome. So Leo, I am available to do during the. I'd be happy to if you're going to be in studio. Whoever's in studio, I'd be happy to call in.
It'll be you, me, and whoever else we can wrangle into it, cool. And we'll cover live. And Jeff, what do you think? You and Jason? Oh no, Jeff, you're not going.
No, so, Jeff is going.
Jeff is going.
No, I am going. It's okay, Leo. I'm old too. I forget things I heard 2 minutes ago too. It's okay, Leo. It's all right. All right.
What?
You understand?
Who's Leo? So, Jeff, what do you think you, Jason, and Mike will be getting? More cardboard?
I wonder if they're gonna if this might be the year they surprise us and say, "Sorry, guys, game's over."
I think it's a bad trend that they said it.
Yeah, we've said that before, and I don't. I mean, it's lovely to have, and it's great to really see the gadgets, and they get to show it off. But and I think that it helps them. And I mean, I think people paid more attention to Chromebooks in part because of giving away the Pixel.
Right.
They didn't all use them, but I think they said, "Oh, this."
Ian Thompson's hopeful that the new Pixel will be available.
And of course, I've already had mine, but that's okay.
Yeah, me too.
I did the same thing last. I did the same thing last time.
Absolutely.
I wonder whether. I mean, the problem is they can't give 5 to everybody.
Right.
Well, I mean, apparently many people won't want it.
Yeah.
So.
And they haven't generally, I mean, maybe they've done this with phones in the past, but they haven't really duplicated a handout year to year. So like,
no, it's not going to be another watch.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't expect another watch necessarily. I actually wouldn't expect another Chromebook unless they feel like they really want to get everyone inspired on making more Chrome apps.
It could be an Asus Flip. An Asus Flip would be.
An Asus Flip? What's that?
The Chromebook.
Oh, the Asus Flip Chromebook.
That's the tablet. I'm waiting for it. It's coming out soon.
Oh, is it a convertible?
Yeah, it's cool. Oh, you don't know. No, you know what it's going to be is what's the little the Chromebook on a stick. Chromebook on a stick.
Chromebook on a stick.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what that is. Oh, okay.
That's what they'll give away.
That's what they'll give away. Sure, why not?
$99, reasonable.
You're right. Yeah. Under $100. We don't. It might even be a lot under 100. All right.
And they set the bar high with cardboard. How are they going to top cardboard this year?
Cardboard turned out to actually be really
that the
great.
Coolest thing you could have got. That was.
Yeah,
it was better
really
than a
was.
Chromebook.
One of the most memorable. Yeah. I mean, Nexus Q, the Chrome box. Remember they gave us the 1 year they gave us the Chrome box. The Pixel was amazing, but the cardboard was because it was a piece of cardboard, but such a cool piece of cardboard. It really stuck out.
Right.
ATAP apparently has some sessions that where they say they're going to show off wearables in quotes wearables that we hope will blow your socks off. I mean, I/O is all about.
Wait a minute, that means they're shoes. Wait a minute, I'm not kidding.
See?
Wait a minute.
So all I'm saying,
blow your socks off, or maybe it's like house arrest band.
We can only hope.
Why would you want a wearable in a shoe?
It's Get Smart.
A shoe phone?
A shoe phone. Get Smart. Sports Illustrated used to have a sneaker phone. I like that idea.
It sounds silly, but there's something to this.
IBM used to have a thing that would be in your shoe, and then when you shook hands with somebody, you would make a connection between his shoe and your shoe, and it would transfer his business card to you from it by the handshake.
Oh my God. You got to be kidding me.
They showed it at Comdex. People were using it. That was maybe that's what it is.
I don't know.
Well,
levitation shoes.
Most accurate step tracker out there.
No kidding. It's in your shoe.
Well,
so
Nike,
of course
that's
right.
how the Nike thing worked with the
Nike
iTunes.
had that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And the giveaways at I/O aren't just giveaways to, give you stuff. Generally, Google is also doing it because they want to spur development in a particular area or a particular direction.
Right.
So, maybe there is some sort of wearable that we haven't thought about that Google would hand out because it's a different type of wearable. Also, not to mention Play Services update allows for multiple wearable devices to connect to one smartphone at a time, right? No one's, except for you, Leo, you're wearing 2 watches at the same time, but most people aren't doing that. But you might have different wearable devices in other ways.
You have different phones. Yeah, that's what it's for.
You have one on your wrist. You have one in your shoe. One on your sports jacket.
Well, if you want Google Glass and an Android Wear watch, that would make sense.
So maybe there are other wearables that we don't know of yet.
And you know that there will be plenty of nerds at I/O wearing both an Android Wear watch and Google Glass and have a tablet, a Chromebook, and a phone on them. You know that.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not going to do I don't think we'll do the change log. I don't want to make Gina feel like she's got to do that every time she comes.
Oh,
There's not that much. There's like a couple of things.
It's not that much, and we talked about the voice actions, which was kind of really the big one. That was one of them.
Yeah, collections. You want to talk about that? Collections.
Yeah, we could talk about that. A new Google Plus feature, and I actually haven't gotten it yet, but I think Jason got it. We were showing it last time.
I have it right here. Look at this. I didn't get it at first.
Yeah. So you basically can file your posts under a certain. You can create a collection of posts. So if you like to post about Glee and Chipotle and Android, you can make 3 different collections, and then someone can subscribe to say just your Glee collection, but not your UFC collection.
How about cats?
How about cats?
How about cats? That's just terrifying. So this will show up when you get it. It'll show up in your menu for Google Plus, above communities. And
you know what? Here's the thing, folks, and you know, I am the great defender of Google Plus.
Yeah,
it's a straight line. I get a laugh on no matter where I'm talking. I still like Google Plus, but the truth is,
it's dying.
I've got to use it less these days. Is it worth? This is a neat feature, but is this going to draw you back to invest in it again when you fear that it's dying?
It's sad because I love it, like you.
I do too.
And it's
what does
still
Elgin say?
It's still useful.
Oh, it is. It is.
But
it's useful to connect to your audience, particularly Leo. Like,
yes,
and for all about Android too. But yeah, my Google Plus page is a sad tumbleweed.
Yeah.
I'm doing it some. I enjoy putting photos up and stuff like that. I put some fun photos up the other day.
Well, you guys even had like far more followers than I ever got. I stalled out for some reason.
We were recommended.
You were recommended. That's really sad. I never got recommended.
No.
Twitter never put me on the suggested users list. I never got recommended by Google.
You gotta wear it with pride. Organic following, man. You're just all organic.
Well, that's what I tell myself. Well, those people, I got them because I earned them.
Because you earned it. Exactly.
Yeah, I've got 3.7 million followers.
Gosh darn it. I got 521,000.
Meaningless.
I have the same number of followers on Twitter as I do on Google+. I think that's telling, isn't it?
I put up a picture of fried cod skin from Copenhagen. Boy, was it good.
Okay, so follow Jeff on Google+. You'll see fried cod skin. Follow me on Google+. You'll see a comparison of Android Wear versus Apple Watch.
Ooh.
Which would you rather see? Fried
Follow
cod
me,
skin?
and you'll see the fanciest toilet paper in the world.
Oh, well. I like Google+. It's my homepage on my browser, and I have it on all of my... Look, you can even see it's on the front page of the S6 and the iPhone. And
I mean, this is the first edition in right around a year to Google Plus. First new feature.
That's a good point. Since Vic left. Since Vic left.
All we've seen up until now is features being redirected in other places.
Maybe have we seen new photo features?
I don't even know if possibly we've seen minor updates to photos, but even photos is being extracted out of Google Plus and sent to its own home. So
sigh.
I mean, I'm totally happy with Google Plus powering the comments on apps in the Play Store and on YouTube, and maybe even if somebody wants to embed comments in their website. But yeah, I think that the kind of social network. Well, I don't want to say this. I feel like I'm going to upset our viewers because there are a lot of people in the Twitter community that love Google Plus.
Right.
So
I love it, and I prefer social networks that are kind of dying. And no, I do. I stayed on Friend Feed long after the mojo had gone.
Yeah, you did. Were you still on Secret?
I stopped. You know what? I felt so bad. I would only look at Secret while I was in the can.
No.
So I felt perfectly appropriate. So I would always feel dirty afterwards. So I deleted it from my phone.
No toilet seat could fix that.
No butt wash and toilet seat could fix that secret stank. I think I should probably go home now.
We still have 2 ads.
2?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I did 2. All right, here we go. Let's do one right now. There's lots more to talk about. Our show today brought to you by Smart Things. Actually, this is a great topic. I like talking about the smart home. And when I do go home, my home will welcome me because I have Smart Things. My home will play some soothing music. We'll put on Sunset on my Hue lights. It knows I'm there thanks to Smart Things. Smart Things was a Kickstarter project. In fact, one I believe that Ms. Trapani invested in. The idea was simple: to take all of the smart devices you have in your home, your Schlage locks, your Quickset locks, your drop cams, your Nest and Honeywell thermostats, all that stuff. And instead of just each of them talking to their own app on your phone, they all talk to the SmartThings Hub, which then talks to the SmartThings app on your phone, and suddenly you can control everything simply and easily. This is the right way to do smart things. Once you have the SmartThings Hub and the free app, you can add as many devices as you want to customize your smart home, and it works with so many things. In fact, there's a list on the SmartThings page that just goes on. Z-Wave, Zigbee, local area network, cloud to cloud. All the protocols are handled by SmartThings. We love it, and you'll love it too. So here's the deal. Visit smartthings.com. Take a look at their solution kits. These are good because they kind of, if you've kind of saying, well, what can I do? Like there's the Energy Saver kit that will, turn off things when you're not around, not moving. There's the lighting automation kit that will, there's water detection. That's actually great for the vacation home. If the pipes burst, you'll know. Here's the deal. Go to smartthings.com and get 10% off any home security or solution kit and free shipping in the U.S. smartthings.com/twit. And don't forget to use that offer code TWIT. That's smartthings.com/twit. We love it. Use it. It's part of my smart home. I don't know if it's nice. It actually doesn't feel like a smart home. It just feels like things just work. It's not like the home is like alive. SmartThings just makes it kind of all just work, which to me, that's even better.
It's a great product. I'm glad that they're sponsoring us.
Cloud Big Table.
Oh, boy.
Explain this to me.
No.
Uh-oh.
No. A highly scalable, performant, no SQL database. This is really geeky, but I was playing with a JavaScript framework called Meteor, and I was asking around about it, and they said, oh, it's nice. Yeah, it's great, except it uses Mongo. I said, what's wrong with Mongo? Oh, you don't know? MongoDB, which is another very popular DB, NoSQL, NoSQL database, apparently loses data all the time.
Oh, really?
I didn't know this.
I didn't know that either.
But people who develop with it say, oh. So that's not a good thing in a database, missing data.
Yeah, no, generally with a database, you do want the data to be there.
Yeah.
When
I hope I'm not besmirching Mongo, because I like Mongo. I think Meteor is great, and it uses Mongo. It's very easy. But you're not using Mongo, are you?
We're not. We're old school. We're using the old MySQL.
MySQL, yep.
Very, very old school.
Yep.
But I think I'm ready to kind of move into the NoSQL because that's the new hotness.
It's the new hotness. It's kind of faster because there's less overhead. Anyway, Cloud Big Table is Google's NoSQL database, and it is, to use a buzz term or two, highly scalable and performant. Performant should not be a word.
It's fast.
It's a noun it's an adjective that sounds like a noun, and is made up, I think. Anyway, this is nice that Google releases this kind of thing. Gmail runs on Big Table. Google Search runs on Big Table. Google Analytics runs on Big Table. That should be enough to tell you Big Table is fast and effective. Single-digit millisecond latency, twice the performance per dollar. And it can be integrated with all existing applications in the Hadoop ecosystem. There, I said it. All right, moving on.
There you go.
This is an interesting article from The Verge. 8 cloud photo sharing services. This is what PC Magazine used to do, this kind of thing. It's what the big publications should be doing. Comparing multiple, only a company with a lot of resources can compare them all. And that's what they've done here at The Verge. Casey Newton, love him. All-time greatest album, the best way to manage your photos in 2015. And the point Casey made is that really everything has now reached some sort of feature parity. So which one should you pick? Amazon just started their service. It's if you've got Prime, it's kind of unlimited storage for Prime members. I can tell you right now, do not use Apple's Cloud Drive. That's just crazy. The iCloud photo library just does not work.
Photos, right? It's now
photos.
Just photos.
And it's just been a nightmare for me.
And you lose some photo album metadata from the old.
It's probably running on
iPhoto.
MongoDB. I mean, you got.
Let's face it. Apple's never been great at the cloud.
No, and Apple
right?
charges more really for storage than I think anybody else does. It's $1 for 20 gigs a month. $1 a month for 20 gigs. Dropbox and Carousel I do use. It's pretty cool. Flickr is now giving you a terabyte for free, so why not?
My Flickr is just so abandoned, though. It's so sad. There's no one on there anymore. In my network, anyway.
Yeah.
So which is your favorite, each of you?
Well, I do. So here's my recommendation. Use a couple because many of them are very inexpensive. I use Dropbox. I use Flickr. I use Google+. And I use OneDrive.
Forget where a photo is?
No, they all. So every picture I take on my camera phone uploads to OneDrive, Google+. I actually do not automatically upload to Flickr. OneDrive, Google+, and Facebook. And that way I don't have to worry everything. But they're all private, but they're all safe. And because they basically all offer free unlimited storage. OneDrive's free unlimited storage if you have a Office subscription. And Dropbox, I have a huge amount of Dropbox. So I don't know what this picture life is. What do you do? I use SmugMug too. Love SmugMug.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I turn on auto upload to Google Google Photos.
Right.
So that's for storing, and then to share, it's Instagram. That's where my friends are.
All of them that we just described have automatic uploading on iOS and Android. So that's and the prices do vary.
Yeah, I worry about this a lot though because now that I'm taking pictures of my kid and she's changing so much, and in
you
10
do
years
want to
from
save
now,
these, yeah.
I mean, I got to kick myself for losing her newborn photos.
This is a great
but at the same
article.
time, yeah, no, that's
thank
really,
you, Casey,
really
for doing this because this is the most important one: price comparison, so you can see.
So if you downloaded it to a physical drive, Gina, you still have a compatibility. I got a question from an old friend of mine today, from the early days of Epicurious, and she's trying to get stuff off the old 20-year-old zip drives.
Oh man,
that was a mistake.
I've accepted that it being uploaded to Google, it has a better chance of lasting 20 years than if I have it on some sort of external hard drive here.
Of course it does.
I've accepted that. There was a long time when I was deluding myself into thinking that I needed to just keep stacks of hard drives in my home.
No,
and that's
terrible
insane.
Right.
It's a terrible
By the way,
idea, right?
how would you get stuff off an old zip drive?
You have to find somebody with a zip drive.
Well, yeah, you need a zip drive or.
And
yeah,
unfortunately, zip
eBay.
drives, the interfaces on zip drives are parallel, right? Maybe they had some USB ones. I don't know.
And I love zip
but
drives.
you're right.
You're going to go to she's going to go to a data service. There are services. There are lots of them that keep all of this stuff.
Jesus.
So that they can, and it won't be cheap.
No, it won't be.
So if you put it on a proprietary medium, it's then your duty to constantly check to make sure that everything still works. That's why the cloud is really the solution. The cloud eliminates this issue. So much so. So apparently there are USB zip drives. That's good news. If it's still working.
Jesus.
Could be worse.
The NSA should launch a photo storage service. I feel like they.
Oculus Rift will ship in early 2016, according to The Guardian. Early next year. That's Facebook bought them. We had the developer edition because I did the Kickstarter. Chris has that right now. You're still doing stuff with that, Chris? You're developing virtual reality game?
Develop anything with it, Leo. I have just played with it a lot.
You just play with it.
Sick a lot.
And gotten sick a lot. That's encouraging.
Just
That's
about every week, I'll go put it on for 15 minutes or so.
And then vomit.
And then vomit, yes.
Yeah. That's why I gave it to you. That's exactly why I gave it to you. Actually, this is not more than just an article in The Guardian. This is a tweet from Nate Mitchell. Extremely excited to announce that the Oculus Rift will be shipping Q1 2016. We can't wait to get it in your hands. No price has been confirmed. I like augmented reality, but quite a bit of disappointment over Microsoft's demonstration of the HoloLens, its AR visor slated for release later this year. They showed it at Build last week, and Paul Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley used it and said it's different from the one they showed in Seattle a few months ago. The field of view is narrowed to just this little slit.
Oh.
That's not good. What do you think of this, guys? hashtag TalkPay.
Ah, yes.
So traditionally in business, you're told that it's rude to talk amongst your fellow employees about what you make. But in fact...
Is it rude? Is it about rudeness? Or is it, well, you're kind of inviting drama. There's potential drama, right?
There's lots of potential drama.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also, from an economic point of view, the smart thing, the sensible thing to do, because then you know if you're getting underpaid.
Yeah, so I think this happened on, I think it was Friday, and I was at a conference. I was at 7 on 7 on Friday, and I was kind of heads down with doing my thing there. So I missed the whole hashtag, which I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a fantastic idea. I mean, in terms of equal pay, it's really important. I mean, being transparent about what people make, it helps people who are just getting into the industry. Yeah. It helps, people figure out, am I getting paid fairly? Did I screw up my negotiation? I mean, this is, which a lot of people do. I mean, from an employer's point of view, it's scary. But I think it's one of these, public parts things where it's like the more transparent and open we are about this, the better it is for everybody.
I wear two hats on this because as an employer,
it's scary.
Well, it's not so. Truthfully, it's not so much that I worry about people negotiating a different amount. Because I hate it when people say, "Well, this guy," and people sometimes do. This guy makes more than me. I should make more. Because I pay each person what I consider a fair amount, given our needs, their abilities, that kind of thing. I'm never trying to negotiate somebody down, just for the saving money. We try to pay them a fair amount of money, but it often comes up, and it is a source of strife. People will hate other people because they're getting more money, and
they feel resentful and they're being valued more, and you're closer to this person, or you think more highly of them. It gets very, very personal. It's very it's a very vulnerable. I saw a lot of people in that TalkPay hashtag saying like, "I'm scared. I can't do this. I don't know what's keeping."
Well, doing it anonymously would be good.
Yeah.
Having maybe.
How does the TalkPay account work? How do you get the?
No, it's just a hashtag, so it's your account.
No, there's also an account.
Yeah, there's a bot. There was a bot, and I feel like it accepted DMs.
Oh, that would be good.
I'm not sure how that bot worked.
So
it's
anonymous.
Either accepted DMs or watched the hashtag and then retweeted them. I'm not sure, but the bot, I thought the bot was great. I mean, it was fascinating looking through the tweets and
did you
just
learn
seeing
anything?
Different careers. I mean, I think. There were definitely salaries I thought I was surprised that seemed lower than I thought. There were salaries I thought were higher. I mean, it just runs the
right.
It runs the continuum, and it really so much has to do with like time and place and situation and negotiation and confidence and all those things.
Company? Do you remember, Gina? What was the company about 2 weeks ago that announced that they wouldn't negotiate with employees because it was a matter of gender inequality in pay?
Well, right. I mean, this is one of the things about gender. The wage gap between genders is that men are sort of socialized. This is the general theory. Men are socialized to be more confident, to negotiate more aggressively, and women negotiate less aggressively. They're willing to just say, "Hey, great, like I'll take whatever you offer me." Whereas employers lowballing, right? So I don't know. I haven't heard this. I know Buffer, which is a company that does like social media stuff. They actually publish their entire company from CEO all the way down of everybody's salary and their formula for figuring out that salary. And so they've been super transparent about salaries, so names and amount people were using, which I thought was really interesting.
Oh, I know. It was Reddit.
Yeah,
Reddit.
It was a subreddit.
All the more important given who the CEO of Reddit or who the CEO is still.
Ellen Powell.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still interim CEO. Said no longer negotiate salary and recruits new talent. Yes and no. I mean, that problem. So I'm a public employee.
So your income is public.
Public as can be.
In fact, somebody pointed out in the Army, it's public. You know what pay grade you are. You know exactly what you get.
Yeah.
That seems great.
Yeah, but the problem, then there's a different issue. Now we'll get in all kinds of trouble. And I am a liberal. I'm a Hillary Clinton liberal. Before I say what I'm about to say, please keep that in mind.
Don't say that.
Please keep that in mind.
What is a Hillary Clinton liberal? Because that doesn't sound liberal at all to me.
Let's keep going, Jeff. Just keep going.
I'm not. Believe me, I'm a liberal.
Somebody for the last 8 years tends to say, "I told you so," but that's another question.
Yeah.
No, he's gotten better. He's gotten a lot better. Where was I? Oh, so I'm not a happy union guy. because the union basically puts a ceiling on what I could negotiate myself for my own value.
Isn't that funny? But it does that, Jeff, I should point out, to provide an equitable playing field for everybody.
I've been in horrible unions in my limited career. I mean, the newspaper guild was just always awful. So I'm not. Yes, they exist in some places for good value. I don't question that. I'll salute that flag. But I rather resent having to pay my dues, and I don't get anything for it. And I'd rather be on my own. But I can't. This is going to be flamed in certain quarters.
As a public employee, I mean, state employee, going into a career, say in the military, where everybody's salary is transparent, and you know that going in, and there's just an expectation. It's just a matter of what level or what title that you get.
Just got an alert from the New York Times: Hillary Clinton to court donors for a super PAC. Oh, look at that! I love smartwatches. That's nice. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry, Jude.
No, it's okay. But to be in a job, be in a private, job where people aren't necessarily talking about their pay, maybe being the only person on your team who reveals your pay, or being concerned that you're overpaid or underpaid. Like I saw one woman say, "I'm only going to reveal my pay and talk pay if one of my male colleagues does it first. If we kind of do it together." That was interesting to see that dynamic.
See, I love the opportunity to negotiate. What this structure does here is it takes away my opportunity to negotiate. And obviously, I make a lot less money than I used to make. I do this because I have a mission now, and I'm giving back and that kind of stuff. And I get benefits, and I get other benefits aplenty. So it's I knew what I was getting into, absolutely. But I don't like not being able to negotiate my own value.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, I brought this up knowing it was challenging. Fascinating.
Yeah.
And this is transparency in action. You can't really keep a lid on information anymore because of the internet.
Yeah.
And you can't keep a lid on a pay-per-view boxing match either, apparently.
Whoa, isn't this great?
All right, well, okay. So people apparently were using Periscope and Meerkat to stream the $90 pay-per-view Mayweather Pacquiao fight. How do you pronounce his last name? Pacquiao? That shows how little I know.
Pacquiao.
And I actually, just because I wasn't going to pay $90 for it because I don't like to watch people hit each other for $180 million. But I did just check to see, and I could watch the fight on a number of streams on both Meerkat and Periscope. But really, is that taking money out of Comcast's pocket, really, or HBO's pocket, or Time Warner? No, because if you want to watch the fight with buddies, you're not going to say, "Oh, come on, let's all sit around the phone and watch it."
You go to a bar that's airing the fight.
You go to a bar that's stealing it. No, or you pay $90 and you invite friends over and they throw money in a hat. This is not taking money out of anybody's pocket, I don't think. And yet, everybody's all at Twitter.
They'll say on a matter of principle they have to fight it because any violation of their copyright, blah, 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 blah,
that's
blah.
BS.
Yeah.
It's silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's live blogs. I mean, there's so many ways to keep on top of.
This is another example, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to give that guy money, so I would have just watched the stream.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't watch fights.
Yeah.
I'm not being not a real man. I don't watch fights.
According to the Wall Street Journal, YouTube considered building something like Meerkat or Periscope.
They damn well should have.
This is so interesting.
Kicking themselves.
But they didn't.
You said
because they were tied up dealing with potential lawsuits. YouTube was engaged in a legal battle with Viacom at the time over the use of unauthorized copyrighted material. I mean, this is the thing. Like, YouTube really paved the way for a lot of this, and they were. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that Google didn't have the resources to build something like this because they were fighting. But this is an interesting take.
It makes more sense though that they were foreseeing a day when Mayweather and Pacquiao would be fighting, and that they would have then a massive piracy problem. And I think given that they were fighting with Viacom, they thought, we're not going to give one more way to pirate stuff. Because you can't do content ID on live streams, right? Or, well, I mean, it's live and it's over.
Right.
So
Right.
YouTube claimed it qualified for protection from liability because it removed clips from its site per the DMCA.
Right.
Periscope says it does the same thing, but that it's meaningless because it's. I mean, Periscope gives you 24 hours to watch it later, so I guess it's not meaningless. Meerkat can't. It doesn't. So they're just. What are you going to do if you're a copyright holder against live streaming video?
I was talking, so I brought this up with my students, and one of them said he watches a whole bunch of football matches from people who were in the stands broadcasting. And I said, isn't that ridiculous? It's little tiny people. He said, but the commentary is great because the guy's talking.
Right.
Everybody's
doing his own show.
Al Michaels in the stands.
It's like Twitch.
Yeah, exactly. What if Twitch took, we're ABC Sports, right? We're ESPN.
Well,
Now,
they're playing
the
real
quality
games
is awful.
with a ball.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Ustream, which has the same issue, in the same article in the Wall Street Journal, Brad Hunstable, their CEO, says, we can delete pirated material within 10 seconds of the broadcast beginning. We have fingerprinting technology that'll do that. Last month, HBO sent takedown notices to Periscope after users broadcast Game of Thrones. And HBO says, we want app developers to have tools in place to prevent this. Seems like that'd be a business opportunity for somebody.
Well, there's a business opportunity right there for HBO and ESPN and company. Imagine if you could share a broadcast that you do have the rights to with a friend, with your own commentary. It becomes marketing. This is the shared economy. You set the rules. People will do it within the rules.
We need kind of some overarching thing. Because really, this stuff is going to happen. It's just going to happen.
Yep. So you got to find business models that take advantage of it.
That's it.
This goes back to the argument about putting your content into Facebook. It's going to become inevitable. So how do you negotiate a mutually beneficial arrangement for that? And if your users want to do this and they'll market you and they'll add value to it, if you're smart, you're going to find a way to make that work.
Right, like HBO now. HBO breaking away from the cable companies.
Right.
And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Every pardon me for this, man for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a cord cutter, Gina?
No, we have cable. We just didn't pay for the extra, but we got HBO now, and I can't. My better half enjoys live sports too much and just doesn't want to deal with the hassle of.
That's right.
If it was up to me, I would be completely just streaming.
Would you ever cut off, Leo?
Well, fortunately, I can afford to have the top cable tier. So there's never a lack of television. I
don't watch much live. I mean, I record some, but you know what? I'm now with all this traveling I'm doing. I download on my Nexus 7 on planes, and that's how I'm watching the whole series. That's what I'm addicted to.
I will go through the weeks at a time of Turner Classic Movies, and because it's ad free, and DVR like old movies, in case I ever want to watch them. Just kind of having them there, and sometimes these old movies are not really available in other forms.
Old friend of mine, Peter Travers, who's the movie critic at Rolling Stone. When I worked with him at People Magazine many years ago, and VHS tapes had just emerged. This is how old we are, Gina. Peter prided himself on having every movie ever made. He would constantly get new movies, and so the poor guy. I've been meaning to ask him, what's the use? Whatever happened, his wife hated it. Filled up the entire basement.
It's silly. It's a hoarder mentality because you can't watch them.
It was at the time, but he was a movie critic, and he was he was a student of movies. He always had it, and he could go back. And
he wanted the ability to just at any moment go to his library.
Yes, and go find a scene and know from it, which is fine. But become digital, all that work to nothing.
Oh yeah, I had a friend who VHS taped every episode of Cheers. Because he didn't want to live a life in which he couldn't at any time watch any episode of Cheers. I once
argued that it was the best show ever made.
Yeah, really?
Oh,
in its day.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was a good
great
show.
So he loved it so much. He had it, but a closet full of Cheers tapes.
Well, and I have, this is even worse. This is like the zip drive thing earlier. Thank you, someone on Twitter, for giving me an answer, which I've sent to my friend, Trapani. You can still buy a USB zip drive, so you can still do it.
Oh, good.
Anyway, so I've got a huge box in the basement of me on tape, right? All my appearances on, CBS News Overnight with Charlie Rose talking about some stuff. Right, I got all that because it just was so special. You were on TV,
right? So
I'm not gonna throw it out. I don't, I mean, I got my moonlighting. My moonlighting is the best one, but some interview on WXYZ. I don't know why I still have that.
That's a huge deal. Even being on TV now is a big deal. It's less of a big deal now because it's like, what's TV? But that's awesome. My dad taped everything on TV because it was an amazing thing. The VCR happened.
Right.
It was like,
right.
you could hold on to this thing and rewatch it. Although I have to tell you, the idea of a movie critic rewinding and fast forwarding of VCR tapes to find a scene, I find hilarious.
He's dedicated. Let me just go off and show you something in a second. Hold on.
The thing that bothers me, and it really does bother me, is how much we should have access to everything now, right? But how much stuff is not online, it's not digital that you can't get. Even if you, for love or money. It's not like it's not just not on Netflix. It's not anywhere. You can't buy it. A huge amount of stuff.
First issue of Entertainment Weekly.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that Katie Lang on the cover there?
That's Katie Lang, yeah. Because there's a story there.
Katie.
Nice.
Yeah,
huh?
I did Katie my first issue. They didn't tell me they'd bought a retail position in all kinds of supermarkets, so this was not exactly a newsstand hit. But anyway, so in the back of the magazine,
I respect you for that, Jeff. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, I invented this silly little thing. What happened to it? That's weird. It changed.
We were looking for Indiana Jones, I think, and
so I had these hard cards. I
remember those.
Right, and
you could tear them out.
Now, the original idea in the original prototype. Sorry, I'm just going back to the prototype here. This is the prototype of EW. This is an early cover of EW.
Nice.
So the original idea back in the back was the hard card. It was a perforated hard card. And you see those things with the blue on here?
Yeah.
Those were the size of videotape, VHS.
You could glue them
tape
to a
labels.
VHS.
So you could, watch Glory, or Passion in Paradise,
insane,
and check it off, and you could glue those onto your VHS
tape.
tapes.
I have a tape here. We'll put that
How's
in the database.
that for geeky?
That's great. That's great. I would have totally bought that just for those. I would be like, yeah.
That is really clever.
I want to stick these onto my tapes.
Isn't that funny?
By the way, while I'm doing this, so this was one of the covers that we did for Prototype Only.
Roseanne Barr.
Wow.
And my favorite, Candace Bergen.
Kiss Cosby Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Because the Cosby Show was going off.
His kinder, gentler days are past, sweet is out, sass is in, and the 90s belonged to these brash and brainy women of TV. Well, Cosby, I'm now proud to say, I can also go over there and get
Was he pissed?
He did. Oh yeah, he managed. This only went out as junk mail and test. He managed to get a copy of it. This is long before Quark. He managed to get someone to remake it and have it say,
Kiss Jarvis
goodbye.
Oh, that's an honor.
But I left EW.
That is an honor.
I have, while I'm doing this, hold on.
Wow, Jeff made an enemy for life.
That's fantastic.
That is quite the honor. And by the way, Jeff was right? That kind of sweet, sugary, feel-good show was dying by the 90s.
It is also nice now to have hate. It's an honor, a special honor to have hate mail from Bill Cosby.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So I have this framed.
That's hate mail? What does it say?
It just says, he sent me a tin cup, the mixed metaphor here. This is after I was saying he was downhill. This is in
oh, Jesus.
1988. And he just said, where are the flowers for my funeral?
And he gave you a tin cup because you're blind?
Because it was to beg, because he mixed the metaphor, but he was begging because Bill Cosby was so poor. And then this
at least it sounds like
he
he kind of had a sense of humor.
A bit, yeah.
What's
that? He said
that?
this with the cover. He said, I found you, you little devil. I was wondering where you were.
He was joshing around with you.
Yeah, he was.
And that's really a testament to your power.
No, it's just, it's testament to his ego.
Yeah.
Well,
Nobody criticized Cosby. But now it's an honor. Now people say, "Oh, Bill Cosby didn't like you. That's good." Before it was kind of shocking. Like the world's nicest guy didn't like you, you schmuck.
You must be a terrible human. Must be.
While I'm on my ego parade, I'll do my one last thing. So Murphy Brown, I liked Murphy Brown too, but I criticized the show. And then there's an episode in the show where they make up a critic character, and they say Jeff Jarvis, the producer guy, the network guy.
Yeah.
He said Jeff Jarvis. He's a bottomless pit of hate.
Wow.
Wow.
Imagine sitting at home on the couch one night.
Wow.
You're watching it live, and suddenly you hear that. So that's my ego parade for the night. We could make a new feature here with the theme song. Jeff's ego
parade. I've been to people's houses where they have ego walls, and they're stuffed with awards and stuff like that.
I don't have any awards. You must have awards. I'll bet you have Emmys, Leo, right?
Yeah, but I don't have an ego wall. I guess in a way I do in my office, but it's more than that. It's just stuff. It's junk.
Those good stories. Murphy Brown, bottomless pit of hate. You trolled them. They were trolling you back.
Murphy Brown.
That's how people used to troll people back in the day. They would have to, have to mention them on TV.
They had to have TV shows to do it. Yeah. Now everyone can do it.
Somewhere in my basement is a VHS tape.
You have that on tape.
Which I can't watch because I actually do have one last VHS equipped tube TV.
Wow.
Do you read any TV critics now, Jeff, at all? Like, do you read Sepinwall or do you're out of the biz and like to watch and form your own opinions?
It must be nice just to watch a TV show and not be taking notes and forming an opinion.
My single worst week was when I had to watch AD, the miniseries.
Oh. I remember that.
And I had a policy. I didn't fast forward. When I watched it, I watched it.
Sometimes I wish I were a TV critic or I had a bully pulpit, because then sometimes you watch a show and it's just like Mad Men. Okay, there's an actor on Mad Men. He plays the kid who went off to Vietnam, who can't act. I mean, he just can't act. And
he's the writer's son.
You're kidding.
He's Matthew Weiner's son. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and that explains it, because he's horrible, and it ruins the show for me.
Oh, man.
He's horrible.
It's true. Anytime he came on, I had a hard time kind of taking it seriously.
He's flat. Yeah. Oh, now I understand it. I thought
that makes a whole lot of sense.
I felt bad because I thought, they were stuck with him when he was a child actor. They didn't matter so much. They didn't know, but then he grew up, and now he's an adult, and they still have to use him because he's the adult version of the child actor. Frankly, the daughter ain't that great either, but at least she's got something going on. He's like wooden.
He was better this season.
Matthew Weiner's son.
That's not saying a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm watching poor January Jones try to act with him.
Well, I saw this interview with her. She's like, I've known this kid since he was 6 years old. He's Matthew's son, and I have to do this scene with him where we almost kissed. She's like, it was the most uncomfortable. He was like, he was uncomfortable because now he's a grown up and understands like what was going on between us. I'm uncomfortable because I've known him since he was a child, and he's Matthew's right there.
Well, boy, that discomfort really came through the screen,
it really
baby.
Came through. It was perfect. That was such an uncomfortable scene. It was
horrible.
Yeah. I always found him a delightfully weird looking kid. Like I was always like, this kid is great because he's just so weird.
Yeah.
And I guess bad, but also weird. But
he was fine as a kid. It didn't bother me, but it bothered me as an adult.
As an adult, yeah.
So there's when you wish you had some bully pulpit, but I guess we do.
We do. This is
not
it.
So bully.
Exactly, we do. You have this, and you have Twitter, and you have
a
Facebook,
little bully,
and you have Google
little teeny weeny bully pulpit. Could this possibly be true? Valvey in our chat room says there's an increasingly credible rumor that Don Draper will become D.B. Cooper in the last episode. I like that. I hope they do that. That would be great. When did D.B. Cooper jump out of the plane and disappear? Remember, he was the guy who hijacked a plane, got a lot of money, and then disappeared, and no one knows what happened to him. 1971. It could happen. They're in 1970 right now. That could happen.
That sounds like a Dallas shower scene.
It does, but I would like it. That seems like something that would happen with Don Draper.
He kind of looks like him too. Look at the drawing.
Oh my God, he looks exactly like him.
Wow.
No, actually, what he's going to do is join the army and invade Texas.
That's a funny story. It has nothing to do with This Week in Google, but that is a funny
story.
Wow.
On Earth.
There's nothing
God,
much.
is that stupid?
Well, it's just sometimes you read these things and you just shake your head. You just shake your head. I think we're done with all of the items. Anything in the rundown that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to?
No.
We even got Big Table in there.
I'll spare you an Euro technopanic rant about them going after American commerce companies now, but I'll spare you.
Well, I saw that article. It sounded like they were going to create their own digital neighborhood.
Yeah, they've been talking about that, but they can't just do it on their own to make their own damn business. They have to use it as an excuse to attack American companies.
EU unveils plans to unite fragmented online markets, crack down on possible abuses by U.S.-based companies. What does that even mean? Jean-Claude Juncker says the European Union plans to unite the region's online markets. Do they not understand that the internet is just kind of the bits?
Right. Nope. Nope.
Apparently not.
They're just...
Wow. What? What? All right.
Europe!
Iota.
Newman!
Europe, Iota. No hugging, no teaching. That was Larry David's mantra for Seinfeld. We're going to do because all the shows, like the Cosby Show, hugging, teaching, lesson.
Oh.
No hugging, no teaching.
I love that.
Right?
That's so Larry David, too. It's
Isn't
perfect.
it? Yeah. It's very strange. It's very surreal to see him on the steps at the Met Gala. Just standing there. No date, nothing.
All I saw was
He, too,
Rihanna's
is wondering
dress.
what he's doing there.
Yeah. Whose dress did you see?
Rihanna's dress.
That cape. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then the butt twins, the Kardashian, Beyonce, those new dresses that just don't leave a lot to the imagination.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to wear a butt dress next time when I get made up like that.
Your makeup, yeah.
I was going to say L'Oreal needs a new app.
How do you look in a butt dress? Our show today brought to you by FreshBooks. We'll get our picks and number and tool and all that coming up, back of the book, as I call it, in just a bit. But first, a word from FreshBooks, the super simple cloud accounting and invoicing solution that will change your life. Here's a question for all you fearless entrepreneurs running a small business. If you started fresh this minute, right now, how much time would it take to catch up on all your invoices, organize all your receipts, figure out which client owes you what and when? That's overwhelming even to think about. Oy. I used to go through that, though. I would have to send bills out. I told you this when I worked in Canada, and I just put it off, and it gets more overwhelming each month. But, of course, if you don't invoice, you don't get paid. If you don't collect receipts, you don't get reimbursed. If you don't record your time and hours, they don't know what you've done. FreshBooks is a super simple solution 5 million people use right now to save time billing and get paid faster. You can create and send super slick, personalized invoices in under a minute. Those invoices have a great button on there, Pay Me. It turns out clients like to pay you. If it's easy for them, you get paid faster with FreshBooks. It also makes it easy to capture and manage your expenses. The camera on your phone is all you need. Using the FreshBooks app, you can take pictures and manage your receipts. The app also lets you keep track of your billable hours. You just press a button, start time tracking. It's so great. And if you need help, FreshBooks support rock stars are famous for their knowledge, and they're real people in the FreshBooks offices. There they are. Don't they look like a nice bunch? Ready to amaze you with their helpfulness. Getting started is simple. I used FreshBooks for years, and I absolutely recommend it to any entrepreneur or small business person who has to do their own invoicing. Getting started is easy. You got it free for 30 days when you go to freshbooks.com/twig. If you have not started using it, please do. I'm not talking, this is not some big elaborate thing. It's lightweight, it's fast, it's easy. Oh, man, do I love it. When they ask you, how did you hear about us, if you do me a favor and mention Twig in that field there, that'd be nice. Freshbooks.com/twig. 30 days free. Start your trial right now. Social PCI in our chat room says, I use FreshBooks to reverse invoice my family members for tech support. You could do that. Send them an invoice. 3 hours on the phone explaining to you where the start menu is. $500. You can do that. Why not?
My lawyer, when I used to have one, the Honorable Harry Weintraub, Esquire, used to always say on the bill, telephonic communication.
Oh, Lord.
The call.
And those are expensive, man. They pick up the phone, the bills, the timer starts.
Meter starts.
I dreaded those words.
You got to have them. I have them. Lots of them. I have more than one lawyer. Did you know that? I have many lawyers. And each of them.
By the way, did we ever talk about is the I don't want to jinx
the
anything
podcast
here.
troll?
Yeah.
Ding dong, the troll is dead.
He's dead. It's dead.
Well, he had, they had kind of gone away anyway. This is the company that had claimed that they'd patented podcasting and went after the networks, and Adam Carolla and some other smaller podcasts sued them in East Texas. That's, of course, a hotbed of podcasting. And Adam, raised money online, crowdfunded some money to fight them. He said, I'm going to fight them. They tried to settle. He said, nope, we're going to court. Finally, they just said, all right, forget it. They dropped it. And the troll themselves said, the reason we dropped it is we realized podcasters really don't make that much money. We were misinformed. But then, as part of it, and we were involved in this, I could tell you now, because I think it's over. And Lisa said, you must not ever talk about this. But, you don't, when you have legal stuff going on, you don't want to talk about it. But in fact, our lawyers told us that the podcast troll will record anything you say and use it against you in court. So you got to be very careful what you say. So I just kind of clammed up. But we hired a firm known for defending patent trolls against patent trolls. The principal of the firm, who was great, I loved her, knew that judge, because there's one judge in Tyler, Texas. She knew that area. She'd prosecuted cases there, had won cases there. She was really great in San Francisco. If anybody needs a good attorney in a patent lawsuit, this one is the best. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but
so this cost you money?
Oh, lots of money. So we had them come in, and one of the things we talked about is something called an inter partes action that you can do with the Patent and Trademark Office. If you think the troll's patent is invalid, you can actually go to the Patent and Trademark Office and contest it. But our attorney at the time said, it's a mixed bag. If you win, great, the whole thing's gone. If you lose, you've really screwed yourself in court.
You strengthened your opponent.
Right. Yeah. And because your opponent says, look, they even filed a claim against it, and the Patent and Trademark Office reasserted our patent. So we declined. We decided not to do that. It's the cheapest way to go. But we decided, I don't want to take that chance. We felt pretty strongly that we would be able to go down to Tyler, Texas. I was going to have, we had a whole strategy. We were going to have a barbecue on the courtyard, the square. The courthouse is on a square outside the square. By the way, the patent trolls offices are on the square as well. We were going to have a barbecue and invite all the West Texas podcasters, including, I said, okay, I guarantee you there's churches in that town that podcast. So we're going to invite all the ministers from those churches, all the podcasters down. We're going to invite the jurors to come have barbecue with us so that they could meet these people and understand that it isn't, in fact, and this is why it works in Tyler, Texas, in these jurisdictions, is they don't like big companies. They don't like big business. They don't like them taken from a little guy. So the patent troll positions himself as the little guy who's being taken advantage by the big guy. GM is, I invented windshield wipers, and GM is just came in and steamrolled over my rights. And they win. That's why you win, because it's a jury trial. The jury says, that's terrible. We can't allow that. So we wanted to make sure they understood that that's not the case with podcasting. We had a great strategy. I was ready. I was all ready. And they never sued us. They sent us a letter asking for $3.5 million.
Whoa.
Which we said, where'd you get that number?
But that's still a gulp letter when you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that these guys weren't the best patent trolls ever, because the trick in patent trolling is to ask for something that's less than the cost of a court case, not more.
Right.
If you ask for $3.5 million, I'm going to say, our attorney said it'll cost you.
See it in court.
Our attorney said it'll be about $1.5 million if you go all the way with this. So that's still cheaper than $3. You're supposed to ask for $500,000, so that the business person says, well, I shouldn't be giving them this tip. The business person says, well, it's cheap. I guess I have to make it, even though we know this is not, we can't take the chance that we're going to have to go to court and pay damages plus the amount of money they want. So we'll just settle for a smaller amount. That's how you're supposed to do it. These guys were pretty inept. Anyway, thank goodness the Electronic Frontier Foundation decided to pursue this inter partes disputation of the patent with the trademark office. We gave them money. They did a crowdfunding. They raised a lot of money to do that. I was nervous, but we helped them with prior art. We had done a lot of prior art research, and we knew a lot of people in early days of podcasting and so forth. And their patent claimed they invented podcasting in the mid-'90s when, in fact, there were people before then doing it. So it wasn't called podcasting, but, their patent was basically on how you can create an online playlist that people could then use a program to go out and get the playlist and get any updates to the playlist. So we showed that many others had done that before then. So anyway, so the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office just about a month ago said, yep, that's a bad patent, and overturned it. Now, it's not dead. In theory, they could go again, but I think that they've probably...
But they've learned that you have no money, so...
Yeah, right. There's no money.
Double whammy.
$3.5 million. What are you, crazy? I couldn't write a check for that if I wanted to. What are you, nuts? So, yes. So we hadn't talked about that so much, but thank you, EFF, for pursuing that, doing a great job. Yeah.
God bless
Amen.
EFF.
Yeah.
And if you ever need a good law firm in a patent case, let me see. I probably can find this. I should give them a little.
Yeah, give them a little. Little love.
A little love. Go back through my emails and I'll find their names. Lisa's probably going crazy right now.
Shut up!
Shut up! I talked to a lot of other podcasters. They went after a lot of people. Personal Audio was the name of the company.
Nothing like a common enemy to bring together a community.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of podcasters, and we talked. We were all thinking what to do. But since we had the resources to hire an attorney, we did, just in case, and to kind of plan going forward. I cannot find the. This goes back to 2012.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you know what? You can send me an email. I'll find the information and send you her name if you need them. But I had nothing to do with killing the trolls. The trolls were killed. Thank you very much by Adam Carolla, who continued to fight the fight, and by the EFF, who did a great job and did the right thing, as it turned out. We didn't have the nerve to do it in pursuing an inter partes judgment. Gosh, I hope it's okay to talk about that. I hate to do that, but you asked. You know me, I'll talk about anything, but
I know you will, so I didn't mean to.
That's what we like about you.
Probably shouldn't sometimes. It's legal stuff I'm supposed to shut the heck up on. But I think this is old now.
By the way, you have a lot of hair now.
Yeah, look at that. It grew all back.
Real.
Yeah, grow all back.
1/8 of an inch a week, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch a month. Been 4 months, 2 inches. Gina Trapani, do you have a tip of the week for us?
I do. Google Maps for Android is getting some Google Now love. Now, because Google goes through your email and knows what's on your calendar, you can now search for My Events in Google Maps and get a map of your upcoming events. You can search for My Reservations and see a map of reservations. You can see My Flights and see results related to your specific events mapped, placed right on the map. It's pretty cool. I tried it and it worked for me. It's just kind of more evidence that Google knows all about you and can at least show you where when your stuff is happening in an agenda view or now in a geographical view in Google Maps. I think that's just on Android at the moment. There's version 9.8, I believe, of Maps.
Nice. Very handy. Jeff, you have a number?
I'm going to cheat. The first one I have there, Google Doodle had its first original song about journalist Nellie Bly. So I'm going to use one as
I
the number.
loved that Google Doodle.
It was a great song too. Well, it was a singer from the AAS.
Let's hear it, because I didn't know there was a song. I clicked the link because then I read all up on Nellie Bly, who I didn't know anything about.
Someone's gotta stand up and tell them what a girl is good for.
It's a girl power song.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Speak up for the ones who've been told to shut up. Oh, Nellie, take us all around the world and break those rules, 'cause you're our girl. Oh, Nellie, take us all around the world.
She did Around the World in 72 days.
72 days, yeah.
For Joseph Pulitzer.
We wanna make something of ourselves too.
Nellie Bly was a journalist in the late 19th century when women just did not do those kinds of things.
Yeah, and she was super feminist. I mean, she was like
she was
straight
great.
Up. Yeah. You know, I spent my childhood going to a park in Brooklyn called Nellie Bly, and I had no idea that it was her. Like, I didn't know who it was named after until, years and years later. It's so funny.
Do you talk about her, teach her about her, Jeff? And
No. In fact, I had a funder yell at me. I said I'm going to teach a new 1-credit course this fall in putting journalism in context. Guess what? Gutenberg. And I said something to a funder about how I was teaching history. And she said, no, don't do that. No, not the old farts. But no, I think Gutenberg.
Nellie Bly was a pen name. Her real name was Elizabeth Cochran Seaman. She also had some patents, speaking of patents, to her name for a milk can and something else. She was an inventor. And
she faked mental illness and stayed in an institution. Yeah, to report on treatment.
10 days in a madhouse. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Very brave woman, and
striking looking woman.
Quite beautiful.
Yeah, really.
So I was really thrilled. That's the first Google Doodle I've really learned something about.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to do it today. Because A, it's a pretty song. B, it's a good subject. And C, it was just well done.
Yeah.
And D, it's journalism. So I get extra credit.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty amazing woman. She died when she was 57. By the way, she was very young during her great successes. Anyway, yeah, nice Google Doodle.
Yeah.
Was that your number? I wasn't paying attention.
That was my number. His first song means the number was 1.
The number was 1.
It was a cheat.
That's good.
I like it. I guess I should make the LG Urbane my tool of the week, although I've only just started playing with it. I have to say I love it. By the way, Lisa texted me and said, talk all you want about patent trolls. Patent trolls suck.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
So she was listening. Hi, sweetie. There were some other things I wanted to talk about. Actually, I really think that the tool of the week should be Gina's tool, which is pretty darn amazing.
Really cool.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, let's make it the tool of the week. We were talking about it earlier. Give me the URL again.
It's makerba.se, Makerbase.
Makerba.se.
Yep.
Makerbase. If you just remember it's Makerbase, you'll know the URL.
And it's a beta right now, so you can't, you could just, what do you just sign in and then you send out invites or something? Or?
Yeah, it's limited preview. So if someone else has listed you, then you can sign in. If you get put on the wait list, tweet at me and say you heard about it on Twig, and I will get you in, and I will let you know. I'll tweet you back if you're in. And actually, I spent the last 10 minutes handing out invites to Twig listeners.
Nice.
Leo, I updated your photo there.
Thank you.
To your current avatar.
Which is also crappy. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a complete.
But you can see who did it too, which is nice. It's kind of like Wikipedia in that regard.
Yeah, yeah, and you can, if you click on the word "updated," you'll even see like the diff.
Gina, this is really sweet. How long you must have been working on this for a while. That is awesome.
2015. So since January, we've been. It's pretty thrown together, which is why it's in limited preview at the moment. And it obviously is lacking design, and we haven't even finished our logo yet.
No, I like the design. Leave it.
Nice.
Leave it. It's clean. It's like medium.
Oh, hey, thank you. Well, that's a compliment. Sure.
No, it's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, so if you're listening and you want in, just tweet at me. I'll get you in. I'm going to grab some dinner, but then later on tonight I'll send out invites. But yeah, you can search for projects. You can search for makers. You can see what people have worked on and how they traveled through their career. And that's our hope, is that we help people on board if they want to get involved in tech. Yeah, that search box is a bit squirrely.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. People are already putting stuff
This Week in Google is right at the top there.
Right there. Look at that. Nice job.
Thank you.
So again, Maker Base is the word to remember, but it's .se. So MAKERBA.se. Gina Trapani, now I have to wait a month?
No, you're 3 weeks because we're going to do I.O. together.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Which is like the 28th. So that's like 20 days, 22
God,
days.
I'm going out there in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Jesus.
and as soon as Marissa Meyer buys Maker Base, you'll be rich and you could just do the show all the time.
From your lips to Marissa Meyer's ears.
Checkbook.
You know what? Somebody is going to buy this. This is really cool.
Yeah.
This is really cool. And I'm going to put all my stuff in there and everything. I think it's great.
Oh, thank you, Leah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, it's cool, and I think this was smart of you. If I put in all our shows and all the hosts of our shows, then they will automatically be allowed to go in.
Exactly. So if you're in, then you can invite your friends. Yeah, so
right.
we want people to invite their collaborators, their co-hosts, their co-writers, their co-authors, their producers, anyone who we've worked with, who you've enjoyed, you've made stuff with.
Yep.
Put them in. Absolutely.
This has been the best week of my life. Friday, we have this amazing Windows Weekly with all of these great Windows podcasters and I think 50 fans, and we drank beer and whiskey and stuff. Saturday, we unveiled the new screensavers.
Congratulations.
And it is already the
Congratulations.
It's the fastest growing show we've ever done by far.
That's great.
I can't tell you download numbers. I don't want to tell you download numbers yet because they're not complete, but they're astounding. Best launch ever. On Monday, I interviewed Neil Young.
That's right. Congratulations on that.
And then
too.
today, Gina Trapani comes back. The highlight of all of it. I tell you, I'm going to announce my retirement here and now. Doesn't get any better than this.
On all pistons. It's great.
I'm
good to
so
see such
happy.
great success. So glad.
So happy. Thank you, Gina. All the best.
You.
Good luck.
Thank you. And I'll see you in
3 weeks for Google I.O. May 28th, 29th. Yeah.
28th and 29th. Yep.
Jeff Jarvis, are you going anywhere? You're going to Finland?
I'm going to Finland, and then I'm coming to Google I.O.
Will you be the, I guess our segues came. All right. I'm going home to ride a Segway. Apparently,
you didn't buy one, did you?
I bought two, and apparently the guy delivering them.
No.
Yeah. Apparently the guy delivering them had
Say no to
He had a crack problem. Yeah.
Jeff, will you be here next week, or will you be in Helsinki?
No, I'll be on the show next week.
Oh, God. We do this show. It's the last show of the week, and I'm always punchy when I do this show, which makes it a little bit looser. What's going on there? Is there a gradual fade? It kind of fits. It does. It could be.
That wasn't intentional.
I'm going to see. I'm going to have Lisa feed this into the L'Oreal makeup creator and see what happens. We do this show Wednesday afternoons, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 2000 UTC. I want you to watch live because probably all the good stuff will be edited out. But if not, you can get the on-demand audio and video after the fact, and that's always available at twit.tv/twig or wherever you get your shows. Do subscribe. You know, I was looking at stats, and for a long time, you know, like the first 8-9 years of the Twit network, 90% of the shows were downloaded on iTunes. It was just by default. That's gone way down. It's like 30% now. And the podcast clients on various platforms have just taken over. Wow. So that's subscribe in your podcast client or use one of the great Twit apps. They're wonderful. And we've got some exciting news coming on our Twit apps.
Ooh.
Wow. I guess it's time for TN2, so I better wrap this thing up. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Twig.